I stay in the country too. I grew up in the country.
Traded his quad for a
My-
tractor.
Girls, what does your toolbox look like? What does your
This
toolbox
tractor's sexy.
What's my toolbox look like?
Yep.
Let's go, buddy.
Which one?
That's a good question. What kind of tools are they? Are they all one brand, and what brand is that?
Let's go.
It's the kind of tools you need.
No, I'm like honestly, like I'm the clusterfuck guy. I got DeWalt, fucking Craftsman, all kinds of shit. But it all depends. Like I got different toolboxes for different things. You know, if I'm doing electrical work, I got a toolbox for that. If I'm doing plumbing, I got a toolbox for that. If I'm doing mechanics, I got a toolbox for that. And by the way, I buy all my fucking tools from Harbor Freight because I'm a poor little boy.
Prozac. All right, that's cool. All right, let's get back on topic here because I don't give a fuck about this after dark shit right now in the afternoon.
I'm 2024.
What's up, Dylan? Welcome to the panel, bro. I hear you screaming at Trump 2024. Rock with it. Can you name a policy that you think Trump has passed that's a great policy?
First step back.
Why is it all?
Dylan, what the
It's
fuck?
always the first one.
It's all. That shit is hilarious.
I didn't understand what he said.
On January 6th, Dylan?
I said first step back.
No, I'm sorry. It was a new question. Next question is, where were you on January 6th?
Oh, I never got that question. What the fuck
See,
did you ask
where
for
else
that?
would I be?
We don't know. We're not mind readers.
I'm borderline a mind reader, though, to be honest.
Yeah,
you guys
What am I
say that-
thinking right now?
people are going to say
What
before
am
they
I
say
thinking right now?
that's why I asked
Brisket.
you.
You're thinking brisket.
That's stupid.
All right, so Dylan, let me ask you another question, Dylan.
I support Biden.
Who support Biden?
Me.
Who said me?
Daddy D.
All right, Dylan. So, what do you support that Biden's doing?
Nothing. He's delusional as fuck.
Okay, so what do you support that Trump's
Check
gonna
his
be doing?
age. Check his age. Check his
Dylan.
age.
Dylan, let me ask you the obvious question, Dylan. Are you drunk?
Gone. He's gone.
No, he's in his mom's basement eating
Yeah,
Dale.
as soon as I asked that shit, he hauled ass, yo.
Really, MAGA? Is this the best you guys got? Is this
He's
the
probably he's going to his friend, his neighbors, and like, oh, I just
today. Sorry about that. If you're here for Felice, you may want to leave. You may not want to stick around for this because she's not here today. So it's just me today. But I'm happy to be here and happy to see all of you. Most of you, I think. So far, I haven't seen anybody that I am not happy to see. There is a kind of like a late, I don't know if a story, but like a late developing event that is happening as we're going. So I'm actually just gonna try and follow this string or this thread from Twitter. It started like 10 minutes ago, but if you're not watching the Oversight Committee, just know that James Comer has a lot of feelings this morning, and Jamie Raskin is poking the bear at every turn. It starts with, let me pull this one up. Mute that there. It starts with a tweet that is being, I can't even read it. I can't find the tweet, but I'll find it. Anyways, here's the clip of Jamie Comer, Jamie Raskin and James Comer going at it. It's pretty damn funny, to be honest. Let's see, got that.
So it's okay. It's okay for, as Tony Bobulinski said, for China to bribe Joe Biden's family with $9 million.
But that's the lie that's been discredited. I mean, where is your impeachment investigation? If Joe Biden took a $9 million bribe from China, why aren't you impeaching him for that?
Well, who says we're not?
Well, I can invite Mr. Moskowitz to come back in. Do you want to move for impeachment today? Because I thought that was your main agenda item. You said it was the paramount priority of the committee.
No, this is a...
Yeah, so you see there that they get back onto impeachment. James Comer, they bring up the $9 million bribe from China, which, by the way, like, not the Chinese government. That'll come in later. But when Raskin asks him, like, well, why aren't you impeaching Joe Biden for this crime? James Comer says, who says we aren't? I just want you guys to realize we're 3 years into this attempted impeachment of Joe Biden, and they haven't even brought impeachment charges. They can't even get enough to bring charges or an inquiry. They can't bring anything. They're still just talking about it. And virtually nothing has changed. It's still the same talking points that they were doing 3 years ago. They're just like the entire Republican Party is just on reruns right now. Think about it. Think about what the MAGA folks are saying every day. Is any of it new? Or is it all the same stuff that they're still trying to convince us was true 3 years ago, that 3 years post those claims is more obvious now than ever that it wasn't true? This is what happens when you tie yourself to Donald Trump. You tie yourself to a moron, you have to sound like a moron defending them. Here's Comer and Raskin again arguing, this time about Russia, because why not? Why not Russia?
No, this is a hearing on China, and you all have an obsession with Russia and Trump. It's disturbing.
We can talk about China and Trump or Russia and Trump.
He's got therapy, Mr. Raskin.
No, you need therapy. You're the one who's involved with the deranged politician, not me, okay? I've divorced myself from Donald Trump a long time ago. You're the one who needs to disentangle.
This is all petty. I'll just keep clicking through what they have so far. Here's another one.
I don't know
what
you're
business
talking
were they
about.
in?
Well, what business is the Comers in? You're talking about lots of people. There's lots of people in the family.
I'm a farmer.
Your
I have land.
Your impeachment investigation must identify a high crime and misdemeanor.
What did they do?
I'll tell you what Joe Biden did. He was a senator of the United States. Then he wrote a book, and he said he made the most money he ever made in his life, millions of dollars on his book, and he gave $1 million.
That's what his family did.
That's
why Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Romania, China, Russia, that's why they paid the Biden family money, because of Joe Biden.
None of those governments paid anyone any money.
Yeah. Dan Goldman's had enough. He's like, fuck this. I'm jumping in. Everything you're saying is wrong. Keep it. What Raskin is saying here, and they're talking about Russia and China, is that Raskin keeps asking Comer, what did Joe Biden do that was wrong? Just over and over and over. And you'll hear Comer just keeps saying, his family members, other people. Again, the reason they can't bring impeachment charges is because they don't have anything that sticks to Joe Biden. There's just nothing there. And you can't impeach, you cannot impeach somebody for a high crime and misdemeanor for something that somebody in their family did. Even if what the GOP was telling you about Hunter Biden was true, which it doesn't seem to be true, it still would not lead to the impeachment of Joe Biden.
Somebody needs therapy here, but it's nobody on our side.
Oh shoot, that's the wrong one. All right. Do we have another one? All right, here we go. This is just clever.
We'll let the record show that Mr. Raskins could not answer the question.
First of all,
Biden to receive the money?
Let me start with this. My last name is Raskin, okay? We've sat next to each other for more than a year. You don't have to add the S.
That's just petty. These people do not like each other. James Comer is remarkably dumb. I saw some Trumpers in here saying, like, I'm still voting for Trump. Joe Biden is a criminal. Joe Biden should be impeached. Let's talk about it. I would love to talk about that with any of you today. The box is open for any opposition at any time. But Jamie Raskin is just not having it this morning. And I'm going to leave that up. That's on Austin's, I think that's how you say it, Twitter feed. He's really good at getting clips up quickly. Lincoln Project already doing ads. So that's great. Lincoln Project is quick. Who's in the box there? All right, Christopher Kelly. Today, I don't think that's really you, but Christopher Kelly, if you're opposition, let me know. Just raise your hand if you're opposition there in the box. RTB family, good morning. How is everyone? We'll give Christopher a chance to let me know if he's opposition there. Don't want either of these guys reset. Yeah, that's not an option though. I hear you on that. The other, we don't want either of these guys reset. But oh yeah, we're just doing opposition today. Sorry, Chris. Yeah, like, but we have what we have, right? Like, we have to choose one of those two people. I do think that, generally speaking, those who just say we want to start over don't really have a great grasp on what these people are doing. Like, Joe Biden has been a remarkably effective president. Where are you guys getting your funding? Good question. Thanks, Mark, for asking that. And that's a good segue. You'll see normally, and I don't have it up today, so hopefully maybe you guys have it saved. I don't know. We are completely crowdfunded through Cash App, through PayPal, through Venmo. Those links are in my bio. Sorry, I didn't put them up on the page here. So if anybody wants to send a donation, I'll read whatever you want to say. I did want to read one. This was from before the show. Annette sent a donation, said thank you and Felice for all you do. Yesterday when I was live with Liv, I know some people sent some donations, and I didn't want to interrupt what was a really I don't know if anybody records Liv's. Actually, I think we put it up on our YouTube. If you want to see a pro-life man just get absolutely decimated, you can go watch Kenzie just dog walk everybody who tried to talk to her about abortion yesterday. It was beautiful. What is today? Is today the 17th? Okay. All right, I think I got through all those. So yeah, if you want to send a donation through that, thank you for asking that question as you tried to blame George Soros for funding me. It is all grassroots. However, as all of us say, we would gladly take George Soros's money. Gladly. If the DNC was actually paying us, like we would be happy about that. I would be thrilled to take money from the DNC. I think that would be, I will take funding from anybody. So long as you're not telling me what I have to say, we're good. The host is off taking care of some family business today, so it's me. It's just me today, and I think that that's devastating for all of you guys. While you're here, make sure you hit that like button as much as you can, and try and farm some potatoes. That's a good one. Which is Joe Biden paid you must be the FBI. That would be great if we could just have some conversations today. I don't have the benefit of having Felice up here to attract Republican men who just want to tell her what they have to say. Cool story this morning. Yesterday was the WNBA draft. The WNBA draft historically, like I think that there have been, I don't think, oh, I've seen Seal Beater. Your name is about Navy SEALs, right? Are you opposition? Let me make sure the Seal is opposition, and then I'll continue the story and bring it up. What's PS? I don't remember Seal. Seal Beater, just stay in the box if you're opposition and drop out if you're not. Yesterday's the first round of or I guess all rounds of the WNBA draft. Here's what is interesting. It appears that the women's tournament was more highly watched than the men's, and you wonder if that translates. Stories do translate in basketball. Like, I was still in Utah during like the Jimmer Fredette years, and that was huge. It was very similar to Caitlin Clark. Like just one guy on a team full of maybe not the greatest players, just absolutely dominating. That player knowing that they had to score all the points to win. It felt similar, and it led to, but it didn't lead to hype in the draft like Caitlin Clark. So sold out arena in Indiana just to watch the draft. The rarity of a WNBA game selling out is well, I guess it's not rare. Let's just say that it's not rare. In fact, most WNBA games are not sold out. They sold out a watch party. The presser for her to when they announced her was 20,000 people. There were 20,000 people watching that online. Now it says up to 30,000 by the end. So to start, 20,000. This could be an interesting change, an interesting leap forward for the WNBA and for women's sports as they're starting. You see between Caitlin Clark and then the U.S. women's national soccer team, you're starting to see an appreciation for women's sports, and hopefully that continues and they can make the money that they deserve. Caitlin Clark moving to the WNBA, she's going to make less as a WNBA player than she was making as a college student, just using her NIL deals. That's pretty crazy. So for anybody who says like the women don't get paid as much because they're not worth as much, like they don't bring in as much ad revenue, let's remember that Caitlin Clark was just an athlete. She was paid just for like what revenue she brings in, right? That was all revenue she brought in. Sponsors came to her because it was worth it to them. She made more money than what her salary will be in the WNBA. It is becoming more popular, and I apologize to those men who think sports are only for men, who are going to see a lot more women's sports on your TV in the coming future. But don't worry, you can still change the channel. All right, so wait, now where was I at? I think that was it on Caitlin Clark. The next thing I want to talk about is Jenny Thomas. There was a Supreme Court hearing yesterday. There's going to be repeated Supreme Court hearings where we are going to hear an awful lot about January 6th. We're going to hear an awful lot about the co-conspirators that caused January 6th. And one of those co-conspirators is Jenny Thomas. And Jenny Thomas's husband is on the court. I would love to hear an argument from anybody as to why Clarence Thomas shouldn't recuse himself from this. And let me give you just an idea. If you don't know what Jenny Thomas has done, if you don't know how involved she's been, these are just some texts that she sent to Mark Meadows from January 6th, or leading up to January 6th and after January 6th. This is to Mark. Help this great president stand firm, Mark. You are the leader, with him who is standing for America's constitutional governance at the precipice. The majority knows Biden, and the left is attempting the greatest heist of our history. One thing that's weird about the way that she texts is that she also capitalizes things that don't need to be capitalized. Just out of nowhere. She texts like Donald Trump. Sounds like Sydney, referring to Sidney Powell, and her team are getting inundated with evidence of fraud. Make a plan, release the Kraken, and save us from the left taking America down. Biden crime family and ballot fraud co-conspirators, elected officials, bureaucrats, social media censorship mongers, fake stream media reporters, goddamn, she's got them all, are being arrested and detained for ballot fraud right now and over the coming days, and will be living in barges off Gitmo to face military tribunals for sedition. This is the wife of somebody who's sitting on the court hearing this case, and she's predicting that the Biden crime family, ballot fraud co-conspirators, elected officials, bureaucrats, social media censorship mongers, fake stream media reporters are being arrested and detained for ballot fraud right now and over coming days, and will be living in barges off Gitmo to face military tribunals for sedition. Just the sheer stupidity of all these people that she named, not in the military. They would not be facing military tribunals. So first, none of them would be facing anything for sedition either. But this is what happened during the QAnon era. I remember a lot of my friends, like where I lost the majority of my Republican friends was during the early days of QAnon, before anybody figured out that QAnon was just like an obvious hoax. Like it took some people a lot of time, but that was every day. My Facebook feed was littered with these people will be arrested soon. Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. They'll all be arrested and they'll all be sent to Gitmo, and they will have public hearings, and they will face treason charges or sedition charges. Like that happened all the time. These are just repurposed. That's the most annoying thing I think about MAGA, is they just recycle. It's just all replays now. All replays all the time. Anita, I see you. Just taking opposition right now. Yeah, Tom Hanks. That's right. Tom Hanks was one of the ones that was going to go down. We were going to see the takedown of Tom Hanks. It was crazy. Some of the people that would get in there, like, of all people, Tom Hanks. I think at the time too, Tom Hanks had just done Mr. Rogers, like it had just come out, and so it was. I thought it was a tough sell for QAnon people to try and sell us on Tom Hanks as the bad guy. That's like the worst possible timing. Like if you had never heard of Tom Hanks and you're like, all right, well, let's see some of his work. They're like, well, here's his latest movie. And you're like, oh, that guy? Yeah, no, that guy's not out there eating children. No, I don't think he's doing that. I don't think he's a threat to our country. They were obsessed with Tom Hanks. All right, so let me get back to this. Let me find more Jenny Thomas for you guys today. These are the first 4 texts that Jenny Thomas sent after the 2020 election. Number 1, I hope this is true. Never heard anything like this before. That's not a good start. There's a Felice's Lollipop? That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I wish I was paid by source. Thank you for asking. I hope this is true. Never heard anything like this before is not a strong way to start a sentence. But if you are a MAGA, that's fine. Like, in fact, for a lot of these people, the more bizarre the story is, like if they've never heard a story like that before, that makes it more believable to them. Like way more believable. I hope this is true. Never heard anything like this before, or even a hint of it. Possible? 3 question marks. And then here's the news story that she sent. Trump sting with CIA Director Steve Piesanek, the biggest election story in history. Then she sends a 7-minute video and says this: Dr. Steve Piesanek, who has very good intel contacts, the QFS blockchain watermarked ballots in over 12 states have been part of a huge Trump and military white hat sting operation by 12 key battleground states where 20,000 plus National Guard were deployed. Biden crime family and ballot fraud co-conspirators, those same people are being, that was the beginning of it, are being arrested and detained for ballot fraud right now and over the coming days. So now, just after the election, she is floating this idea to Mark Meadows that there are secret watermarked ballots, and that those watermarks were due to Trump and the military. I don't know why the military. Why do they always say the military? One of the QAnon things that never made sense to me is they're always like Trump and the military. Like who? Who in the military was running sting operations in the United States? By the way, that in and of itself would be a violation of the Constitution. As the president of the United States, you cannot use the military to run sting operations inside America. And again, not that this isn't just some dumb lady. This is somebody who is married to a Supreme Court justice who is sitting on the bench hearing this case. And if you know anything about QAnoners or people like Jenny Thomas, I promise you she's not keeping this quiet around anybody. She is saying this to her husband. QAnon, like middle-aged white QAnon ladies, are incapable of keeping their mouth shut. They can't do it. There's no chance you're ever going to get them to be quiet or keep those ideas inside. They are going to share it with everybody. They're going to DM it to you. They're going to email it to you. Like they're going to text it to you. If you don't answer their calls, they'll just go ahead and like send you the transcript. Her husband is hearing all of this. And again, he's sitting on the bench. Second text on November 6th. Do not concede. Why? Why, you might ask? Why should Trump not concede? It takes time for the army who is gathering for his back. Now think about this. Jenny Thomas, while dumb and easily convinced, was connected with everybody. She's been connected with the Oath Keepers. She's been connected with the Proud Boys. She's been connected with the group that set up the January 6th event. She's connected with everybody. And she's saying here, you do not concede. It takes time for the army who is gathering for his back. Just fast forward like a month or 2 months, excuse me. Was there not an army? People that thought they were an army? For fuck's sakes, they showed up in camouflage, many of them, and in tactical gear. And the ones that were organized were marching in formation. And they had a plan. Weird, right? Just weird. Mark, I wanted to text you. This is November 10th. Mark, I wanted to text you and tell you for days you were in my prayers. I fear Nancy Schultz you are working with, though. Don't listen to Nancy Schultz. Here's who you need to listen to. Listen to Rush Limbaugh, Mark Levin, Dan Bongino, Cleta. I don't know who that is. I know the grassroots wants truth to prevail over lies. I don't know why that's a question. Help this great president stand firm, Mark. The left tastes their power. You are the leader with him, who is standing for America's constitutional governance at the precipice. The majority knows Biden and the left is attempting the greatest heist of our history. When I read texts from Jenny Thomas, it reminds me of a case that I followed really closely just because it was a case that I was tied to personally, but the case of Lori Vallow. And you saw the way that they spoke behind the scenes, like this type of speak, like this prophetic, we're all part of a movement that the world will soon understand. Like this is literally how every cult speaks. Every and especially a cult that is on the precipice of losing power. So you go look at NXIVM, go look right now at Scientology, look at the Mormon Church. Look at Jim Jones, look at Waco. Towards the end, you started to hear and see like this prophetic, like facts be damned. We believe in our hearts. We know what's coming. Stand strong, stand fast, be firm in your beliefs, right? Like, don't worry about all that information that makes you kind of seem like a lunatic. Stand firm, stay with it. And Meadows, of course, who is just a massive pussy, says, I will stand firm. We will fight until there is no fight left. Quick reminder, Mark Meadows is no longer fighting. It appears that years ago there was no fight left and Mark Meadows bowed out. So this guy who promises that he will only quit when there's no fight left, he left. Our country is too precious to give up on. Thanks for all you do. And then Thomas said, I'm tearing up and praying for you guys. So proud to know you. Like, this is all she wanted, was just like a little bit of confirmation that what she was saying wasn't crazy. And he did. He's like, yeah, we'll keep fighting. And she's like, yay, it's true. And she started crying and praying and saying, I'm so proud to know you. Imagine being proud to know Mark Meadows, who will go down in history as just a lapdog who ruined his life lying for President Trump. That's who he is. Right, because as these cases go forward, we're going to find out all this evidence came from him. Virtually all in fact, this evidence came from him. These texts came because of the January 6th commission when they got his text messages. All the evidence comes from him. the Trump people will turn on him. He will be viewed as a pariah to the Trump people. All of us are like, yeah, sorry, dude. Like, you had your shot. You could have stood up. Like, he's ruined his life. He will be alone the rest of his life. His political power is over. His political career is over. And Jenny is just saying, like, oh, I'm so proud. I'm so proud that you are also going along with this lie. This is from same day, again to Mark Meadows. Van Jones spins interestingly, but shows us the balls being juggled too. I don't know what that means. I honestly don't know what that means. It feels like she's giving Van Jones a compliment. House and Senate guys are pathetic too. Only 4 GOP House members seen out in the street rallies with grassroots. So she's mad at the GOP because you have all these dumbasses out in the street saying the election was stolen because they're just easily duped. And she's mad that not more people in Congress are easily duped. So then she shouts out these 4 patriots who they're the smart ones. And here's the names: Louis Gohmert, Jim Jordan, Paul Gosar, and Chip Roy. If you wanted to name the 4 craziest people in the House, like, those 4 are all in the running. Those might not be your final 4, but those are 4 of like the 10 people who are in the running. If you don't know who Louis Gohmert or Paul Gosar are, go watch any clip. I won't even send you to a clip that purposely makes them look bad. Watch any clip of those men speaking and ask yourself, like, are these sane people? They're not. They are not sane people. But those are her heroes. Jen is always opposition to me, so she gets to come up whenever.
Morning, sunshine. Do we have Discord and messages up?
Hold on, Jen. I got to do the microphone. It's okay. I should be able to hear you now.
Now, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. Do you have Discord up? You have messages up. Pay attention. Do you want me to invite people if they're chirping in the comments?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
I
if
would
you guys
like
aren't
to do.
scared to come talk
Yeah,
about
I would like
any
to
of
do
this
all
stuff.
opposition today.
Yes, I know that. So if you guys aren't, if you have the stones and you disagree with Jay or anything he's saying, that little button on the bottom says multi-guest. Push it. If you keep talking and run your mouth, I'll invite you. And if you keep running your mouth in the comments, I'll probably just mute you. Just giving you a heads up. So, all right.
All right, we're unleashing our Kraken. It's Jen. Thanks, Jen. The names, somebody asked who the 4 names were. It was Louis Gohmert, Jim Jordan, Paul Gosar, and Chip Roy. Now, Chip Roy's the one in there that I probably wouldn't include in the 4 crazies, but Chip Roy has this unusual ability to both believe insane things and then, like, see through the political divide. Like, he really does believe what he believes. I don't know that he's so much of just like, I just worship Trump. I just think he happens to align with Trump on a lot of things. But the rest of them just literally do whatever he says. They'll repeat any lie. They do not care one bit. Jen, I'll just let you control the box. Just bring people up when it's time. Okay. Where the heck are all those who benefited by President's code?
Hey, what's up? So
Hey.
I'm not opposition, but I'm not for either. I've been out of the political realm for about 13 years now, like legit once I retired out of the military and what I went through, I was like, I'm just going to check myself entirely, right? I see it here and there on the news, but generally speaking, I can't get into the deep end part like everyone here on TikTok does. So I'm that on the fence guy. I'm now just recently getting back into the politics, and from really having no experience, I've really never seen it this bad as, okay, maybe the 60s in the Civil War. I mean, the 1860s and maybe in the Civil Rights Movement with Vietnam, it's been pretty politically divided. But I wasn't around during that time. In my almost 40 years of living, I've never seen it this so divided.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Yeah, and
I think the frustrating part is that, like, when you look back in history of the times when our nation was divided, it was over like real issues.
Correct.
What's silly about this time is like one side is just making things up, right?
See,
we're divided about Republicans making up an alternate reality and selling out completely to Donald Trump. It's the first time in our nation's history that the political divide was over a person. It's not a policy divide. It's not an ideology divide. Most of the stuff that like divides us politically, we actually are mostly on board with. Like most of the country supports the right to have an abortion. Most of the country wants universal health care. Like so the political divide now is about a person. It's about power. It's not even about what the American people want.
I mean, from an outside looking in, like I said, I'm not engaged like most people that you talk to on this platform. I'm not that engaged. I see as Trump more of a symptom than anything else.
Yeah, no, I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly with that. Yeah, I disagree wholeheartedly.
System.
I disagree wholeheartedly with that. I think he is I think he is the virus. I don't think he's a symptom.
Well, because I really started seeing the divide during Bush's second term. Not so much his first term. He was still pretty much on good terms. He even won the Hispanic vote in 2004. But his second term is when the divide I started to slowly seep in, and then it happened a little bit more under Obama, and then by the time Trump came around in 2015, it was a complete disaster zone.
Yeah, but is
that a fair statement?
Yeah, but think about, so I don't know about the Obama or the Bush one. To me, like that's a sensible divide, right? We felt people felt duped. They felt like our government lied to get us into a war.
HTPTS.
That's what I'm telling you.
Okay. HTPTS. Then what?
No. You are wrong. I'm going slow, okay?
Okay.
H for Harry.
Uh-huh.
T for Tom.
Mm-hmm.
T for Tom.
You said that already.
P for Papa.
Wait. Is there one T or two T's?
Two T's.
Two T's. T. And then a colon.
P for Papa.
What about my colon? Oh, P. I forgot about the P. You can't forget the P. The P.
S for Sam.
S for Sam.
And after that, colon, 2 dots, 1 up, 1 down.
How do I make that? Do I have to like press a period in something?
I tell you. Look at your keyboard. Can you see the shift key?
There's two of them. Which one?
Press any one of them. Press and hold the shift key.
Okay.
One of them.
That didn't do
and
nothing.
hold.
That didn't do nothing. It's just
I
sitting
tell
there.
you, don't worry. Now, beside, can you see the letter L? L for love.
Shift L. Okay, so it's a capital L?
No,
Is it like-
no, I didn't tell you. I didn't tell you.
I've seen that before.
Sorry?
I said I just never knew that was my code for colon or my colon or whatever. Still don't know my colon has to do any of this. Okay, so HTTPS, capital L.
No. Just delete the L.
Delete the L. Now, HTTPS.
Yeah.
Okay, still doesn't do anything.
Correct. Now don't do anything. Listen to me.
Okay, wait.
Now,
Now
can
that's
you see-
confusing because you
can-
said don't do anything.
Yes, don't do anything to me. Can
Okay.
you see the letter L? The letter L. L for love. Can you
Yeah,
see
that's
the
what
L?
I did last time, and it just gives me a
No, you
capital.
don't have to. You have to. You don't have to press the L. I just told
Well,
you
you
that.
keep bringing it up. Goodness
Now,
gracious.
beside that L, can you
K.
I've been checked out of the political realm, and when I mean checked out, I mean if I saw friends on Facebook posting politics, I'd block them. That's how checked out I was. Yeah, I would see the news here and there on the local level, right? But I didn't really pay attention to the national level. I was truly checked out. Now I'm kind of pulled back in over the last like 6 months to a year. To a year, and seeing this, and when I mean checked out, RTB, I mean completely checked out, by the way.
I bet that was lovely.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie to you, it feels great, but being pulled back in has it's addicting in its own
It's
sense.
got its own dopamine rush. Yeah,
It does.
I hear you. I hear you on that. Yeah.
And so I'm looking and I'm thinking to myself, and the reason I checked out real quick was I voted for Obama in 2012 thinking things will change. Things didn't change. He still bombed if I can say that online, I don't know TikTok triggering words, right?
Find out.
Yeah. He still spent billions of dollars, drone striking the Middle East, right? I mean, he still spent massive money on energy companies like Solyndra. Meanwhile, the VA still wasn't properly funded back then. It's better now, right?
Right.
But it wasn't back then, and we know this. So that's kind of why I started checking out. Then I looked on the Republican side. I'm seeing an egomaniac like Donald Trump come up out of nowhere and just, sweep everyone up. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm done.
Well, I think that sometimes people forget that I agree with you. Like I was saying about like in the Bush administration, like that made sense why people were opposed to Bush. Like his approval rating when he left office was like -3 trillion.
It was what, like 37% or something like that.
It could have been lower. Like that actually sounds high, but you may be right. But the Obama stuff, like most of the stuff that people said about Obama were just flat out lies. Like about his
But by the way, did anything I say about Obama right now, was I wrong in that? Is there any about the Because I remember going to the Middle East and Afghanistan. We continued drone striking under him. Like we spent billions.
Yeah,
drone
Republicans
striking.
were calling him the drone striker in chief. That was their nickname that they
Well,
gave
I
to
wasn't
him.
doing that because of Republicans. It's just what I saw.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. I'm saying
Yeah.
it was a real story. Yeah. He really
Okay.
was doing that. He did continue those policies. But during the Obama years, the real stuff that most people got upset about were like, or that most people talked about, were the lies that Donald Trump himself was spreading, like the whole birtherism thing. Then you had like the rise of, I would call them like it was kind of like the Gamergate people, but the rise of the red
To
pill.
be fair, by the time Trump started rising in 2014, I was already checked out. So
Yeah, but
I
I'm
was
talking about during the Obama years. During the Obama years, those lies about Obama being born in other countries, those were started by Trump. Trump was going around, he was on the news, he was spending his own money. He hired like private investigators, and even when it turned out that was that he was born in Hawaii, Donald Trump still to this day kind of continues with it. And so Donald Trump is the virus. Like Donald Trump came in with a megaphone and he started giving a voice to the crazies. And once the crazies had Donald Trump, and then once Donald Trump got control of the GOP, everybody was forced to go with the crazies.
Right, so it's kind of like that gang mentality is what you're talking about.
Yeah, to me it's more of a mob, like a mob
Like
boss
that
mentality.
mob gang mentality.
Yeah, you're with us or against us. You're all in or all out.
Right. And from the Republican side, well, Donald Trump, talking about today now, Donald Trump controls so much of the Republican vote, they kind of have no choice. Am I wrong in that?
No, correct. Yeah, he has enough of a base that if you go against him, there's going to be a significant portion of your voter base that will not vote for you if he tells them not to.
So you'll end up with a Ross Perot situation in '92 where he literally split the Republican vote and Bill Clinton came in and just wiped the floor.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the concern for some people with RFK is that RFK doesn't appeal to liberal people. RFK doesn't appeal to Biden voters. How do we know? Because he ran against Biden, and all the people that were voting for him weren't Biden voters. So he doesn't hurt Biden. But what he does do is he gives people who are perhaps anti-vax and people who perhaps believe in other conspiracies but don't like Donald Trump, RFK is an option for them. He's a more sane version of Donald Trump.
Does he have enough of the base like Trump does to split a Democrat vote, or do you think he doesn't?
Not a Democrat vote, but he definitely has. I haven't seen any data that would show me he's going to really pull from Joe Biden, but but I've seen plenty of data showing that in certain key battleground states, like in Arizona, that could be huge. There's still a large amount of people in Arizona that are going to protest vote Donald Trump, but they may be conservative and they don't want to vote for Joe Biden.
Right.
But the same cannot be said the other way around. Anybody who doesn't like Joe Biden, they're not going to vote for RFK. They would maybe go Cornel West, but there's just not a significant amount of people that are going to vote for third party that are on the left.
Or who was that independent guy in 2015? Gary Johnson or something like that. I remember him.
He was a libertarian.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a libertarian. That's who I voted for in 2016. Yeah.
And I wasn't going to vote for Romney because I was a Mormon for 15 years, got out of that church, so I wasn't going to vote for a Mormon. That's just my bias.
Yeah. I was still Mormon at the time and working for him.
I appreciate for. Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what about the Mormons though. Once you're in, they do protect their own. I'll give them that. They do.
Yeah, but once you go against them, it's like
take care of their own. I'll give them that. I'll give them that much.
That's true. All right, brother.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So I'm looking. Yeah, real quick, and so I'm looking at today's Biden and Trump, and I'm looking at Biden. I'm like, yeah, he's a better person, but, dude, like you're telling me out of a country of 332 million Americans, give or take. You're telling me the best we can do is Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who are in their 70s and early 80s? You're telling me as a country that's the best we can do?
Yeah, look, I understand that sentiment, but I would just like to offer that we had new economic numbers come out 2 days ago. Of all the countries in the world, we are the only country whose GDP is going up. The only one. We're up.
Okay.
Our guy is the oldest. but he's outperforming everybody. And I don't think he does. I think the benefit of having Joe Biden is not that Joe Biden is great. It's that Joe Biden is weak in a lot of places, and he recognizes that, and he allows other people to step in and fill the roles of places where he's weak. And I think that what we've seen is that the executive branch for far too long has been viewed as a one-person branch, but it is a branch, and it takes a lot of people. It takes a lot of appointees, and it takes a
Right.
team that is cohesive and has a directive and tries to get things done. We know that about Joe Biden, that he will rely on his team. And I would say Joe Biden has got about as much done as he possibly could with the world's worst Congress, like our country's worst Congress. They won't pass anything, and Joe Biden just keeps working every day to find workarounds. Like, one of the criticisms that he gets a lot, and you'll hear this from right wingers, they say that he's corrupt, is that he tried to take student loan debt and forgive it, right? And the Supreme Court ruled that he couldn't do that. So what did Joe Biden do? Did he say, sorry, I tried, and he quit? No, he got his team to work, and they went through any instance where they had executive authority to forgive student loan debt, and they did it. So they went back through all the proper channels, and anywhere where they can forgive student loan debt legally, they did it. Those are places where, like, Congress had already authorized a debt payoff, but like that, maybe that debt payoff was 10 years from now, and he moved that timeline up. What Donald Trump does when he loses is he just sits there and cries about it and says it's unfair. He doesn't try and come up with a better solution. He doesn't move on. Joe Biden was like, fine, we can't do that, Supreme Court. Got it. All right, now I'm going to go do what I can do. And he went and got done what he could get done. I like that in a leader. I like that in a president. Somebody who doesn't quit. People say Donald Trump doesn't quit. He quit a long fucking time ago. He's just complaining now.
I'll take your word for it as far as the economy and stuff. Not that I'm saying you're wrong. It's just like I said, I'm just coming back into this whole spectrum. So I'd have to do my due diligence and get back into the grind, like you already in, and really look at the numbers and stuff. But
yeah,
man, go ahead.
You can go find those if you just look at you can just search GDP growth Q1 United States, and it'll give you all sorts of information there. But even just looking at where we were at almost 9.5% inflation at its highest. We're down at 3.5% now. We were at massive unemployment. We're at historic lows for unemployment now. Everything Joe Biden has everything that he can get done, he's gotten done. And frankly, if Joe Biden would have been allowed to govern like a normal president, if he didn't have this Congress, I think we'd be in an even better place, because I think the border would be addressed. I think some healthcare stuff would be addressed. I think some wage gap stuff would be addressed.
Listen,
wage
by the
disparity would be addressed.
I don't blame the border or healthcare on Joe Biden. The border and healthcare has been a complete disaster zone for decades. I don't blame that on Joe Biden at all. And as far as like the jobs, outside looking in, no insight on anything, from my just eat with your eyes perspective, I would think jobs would naturally come back as states opened up.
Certainly. Yeah.
Okay.
Certainly. I guess, like, when you want to compare the two, like, a lot of people like to tout Trump's unemployment rate that was historically low. We're lower than that now. So even though all the jobs came back, we're still at a better number than when Trump was in office.
All right, fair enough, man. RTBD, I appreciate it, man. I know you like opposition, and I'm really not opposition. I'm more just like, I don't know, so help me.
No, I appreciate the conversation. Honestly, I do.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Much love.
All right, we'll see it. I'm gonna go ahead and not go back and start reading Ginny Thomas quotes. We're gonna leave. We're gonna leave that. I did want to play this clip, because this will go around. You guys will see this a bunch today. This is from End Wokeness. I'm trying to remember. End Wokeness is a Twitter account, and I'm trying to remember now who they have figured out that is behind the End Wokeness, and it might even be Elon. I can't remember. But this is a clip. There was a whistleblower from NPR. Not really a whistleblower. Him just saying that they're more left-leaning than they used to be. And then this is their new CEO. And I just want you to listen to this clip and see if you have a problem with this clip, and then I'll tell you what right-wingers are saying.
the number one challenge here that we see and is, of course, the First Amendment in the United States is a fairly robust protection of rights, and that is a protection of rights both for platforms, which I actually think is very important, that platforms have those rights to be able to regulate what kind of content they want on their sites. But it also means that it is a little bit tricky to really address some of the real challenges of where does bad information come from, and sort of the influence peddlers who have made a real market economy around it.
Okay, so this clip is going around everywhere on right-wing media, and this is further proof that these are that like everything they do is coordinated. Everything, yeah. You guys, those that are putting up question marks, yeah. What was wrong with that? Right? You heard that. What right-wing media has done is the first thing she says is the number one challenge that we see is the First Amendment in the United States. And what she's saying is that like the First Amendment is so robust that as a place that produces content, and as a place that platforms people, like trying to figure out that line of like what's free speech and what crosses the line is really difficult for these organizations. It's really difficult for publishers. It's really difficult for online platforms. Everybody has this problem. It's a very sensible thing that she's saying here. But right-wingers all over, every one of them today, every major right-wing content creator has put up this clip. This is from End Wokeness. I'm playing their clip. So they've clipped this how they want to. And I wanted you guys to see the clip that they posted and see if you could figure out something that was wrong with it. I think MAGA has an active listening problem. And I've noticed this the more and more I debate, is that they seem to be listening for things that they can be mad about. And so they all stopped listening when she said the number one challenge that we see is the First Amendment in the United States, and then just didn't listen to the rest where she explained that like they care about the First Amendment and it's challenging as a publisher to walk that line of First Amendment, like what is and isn't acceptable First Amendment speech, right? There was nothing wrong with what she said. And I just want some of these like big content creators, Gunther Eagleman, who we've talked about before. This is typical liberal batshit crazy white woman.
Typical liberal batshit crazy white woman.
You got an echo there, friendo.
You got an echo there, friendo.
Do you want to drop down and come back up? For some reason, it's echoing.
I just got to take it off the Bluetooth. Hold on.
Okay. Someone said not a friendo. Everyone's friendo. Everyone's friendo to me.
Okay, is this better?
I think so. Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good. What's up?
Well, I just wanted to actually come up here because it sounded like, I mean, what you just said about the First Amendment. I mean, maybe it has to, maybe you have a problem with free speech absolutism, but that's actually what it's all about. I mean, if it's not free speech absolute, then you can't go too far with it. If it's not free speech absolute, it's not free speech.
Yeah,
period.
I have a problem with free speech absolutism, and so does our Constitution, and so does our law.
No, it doesn't. Wait, where in the Constitution does it say that it's not absolutism?
Well, that's not how the Constitution.
How do you say
that's
that
not.
Constitution
Where
has a
does it say
problem
that it? Wait, hold on. Where does it say that it is absolute? It doesn't.
You don't understand the Constitution.
So who determines?
By asking that question, you don't even understand the Constitution.
No.
Constitution limits the government. That's how it gives us freedom. It doesn't. It's not by allowing us the freedom. That's allowing us the freedom.
Who guarantees the freedom? The government guarantees the freedom.
They guarantee the freedom.
It is their job to protect the freedom. You're right. So, and whose job is it to interpret the Constitution?
The Supreme Court.
Okay, and has the Supreme Court ruled that free speech is absolute or not absolute?
They've never ruled that it wasn't absolute.
Well, if that was true, then harassment and libel would not exist.
That's not true.
Defamation would not exist because that's all speech, right?
No, it's not.
Yet, can you explain to me how defamation is not speech?
Okay, defamation. Okay, it's not absolute, but
That's what.
there's
There
nothing
we
that
go.
actually
So
says that. There's nothing that actually covers hate speech, which is
harassment.
actually where the problem is. You want
harassment.
harassment? That's not
Yes.
hate speech.
It can be. You can hate
Right,
speech
but
can
you
be charged as
but you
harassment.
qualify hate speech, but you qualify hate speech way too liberally.
Who qualifies it? The courts qualify it, not me. Don't get mad at me. It's the courts.
No, okay.
Well,
Censorship.
if you have a harassment charge, who decides what the punishment is?
It depends on the harassment. I mean, what's
lawfully
considered harassment?
Lawfully it's the judges.
How do you consider what is harassment and what is simply just being deemed as snowflake hate speech?
I don't. The courts do.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, I'm willing to go with that. However, the courts have already proven to be biased. I mean, the Colorado Supreme Court has already blatantly abused the Constitution that got overturned with a 9-0 decision, and that actually is a proof that our court systems are not perfect.
Yeah, nobody said our court systems are perfect. We've also had multiple laws be overturned and judgments overturned down in the Fifth Circuit, where conservatives are abusing the court system. Yeah, there's no question. Everybody has bias, my friend. You have bias, I have bias, judges have bias, and it's the job of the court system to try and eliminate that bias as much as they possibly can. But you'd get no disagreement from me. Like, there's bias in the court systems, but it's silly if you think that there's not bias both ways. Like, I grew up in Utah, dude. The Utah court system has ruled the amount of things that they have ruled unconstitutional as a conservative court system would blow your fucking mind. Like, they decided that it was constitutional for counties to be like, yeah, you can't. This is a dry county. You can't drink here. Those were conservative courts. I agree with you. I think liberal courts can take it too far. I agree. And what we saw in Colorado was, and by the way,
way too far.
No, what?
Way too far. I mean, they didn't even talk about
my
how
friend,
it
my
infringed
friend,
upon
my
our
friend,
First
my friend.
Amendment
Let me
rights.
finish, my friend. Let me finish my statements, then you respond. How about that? Is that cool?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so that the Supreme Court didn't decide that the states have no right to take somebody off the ballot. What they determined is that you can't, like, there has to be a stronger set of evidence to take somebody off the balance or off the ballots. Now, that had never been tried before. That it was an important court case. It was an important court case for you and for me and for all Americans, because it made the process of removing somebody from a ballot more defined. That was a good thing for all Americans. We now have a more clear picture of the states' rights when it comes to the ballot.
Okay, yeah, and
that's why it was 9-0.
Okay, you know also why it was 9-0? Because it clearly stated the very reason why they actually went 9-0 with it is because it clearly stated in a section that was completely ignored. Section 5 of Amendment 14 was completely ignored, and it very clearly stated that's why it was overturned, because it had to be Congress to make that decision, not a state Supreme Court.
Right, but that's important to be challenged.
Oh, it's not to be challenged. It's not important to be challenged. It's clear, black and white. It's to challenge it.
Brother, we just
it's
agreed.
It's a blatant.
Brother, we just agreed to let each other speak. So when
Yes,
I start,
and I was still talking.
whoa, no, you weren't. It was my turn, and you
All right.
cut me off the second I started talking. So let's just calm down a little bit. The court's job is to hear challenges to the Constitution. And the reason we have challenges to existing law and the Constitution is because things are a lot different right now than they were in 1776 or in 1791 when they adopted the first 10 amendments. Like, it's different now, and that's the court's role. So when these challenges come up, I think politically a lot of times we take offense to it. You shouldn't take offense to that. We should like to see these laws be challenged more often, because it more clearly defines what is and isn't acceptable. This is our system working exactly how it was designed to work.
Yeah, and I think the Democrats are really showing their ass on it too. But
Well, I'm sure you do, but like, based on what? The lawsuit in Colorado was brought by Republicans. They were the only ones who could claim that they had been damaged.
it doesn't
was a
matter
Republican
who brought it.
Well, why is it? No, what I'm asking is, why
It doesn't
would
matter who brought it.
Hold on, my friend. Hold on, my friend.
The
Hold on.
judges
Again,
that made
please.
decisions.
Please let me finish questions before you get hysterical, okay? Let's try and keep those emotions in check. We can do this. Republicans brought the case, and the courts ruled on it, and the only people you're willing to say showed their asses here is the Democrats. Why? You're partisan,
No,
man.
it's
You're
bullshit
partisan.
that it was the Republicans
You
that
are
brought the case.
partisan, though. But do you understand you're being partisan here?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
but
cool.
you know what? That it wasn't
fine.
Republicans.
It's
that
okay
were,
to be partisan. I'm glad. It's good to say it. It's okay to be partisan. I understand that you think that conservatives are going to make this country better. I firmly disagree. And I would probably argue that you have no idea what your politicians are actually trying to do, because they lie to you all the time anyways. But at least we can admit, like, yeah, I want Joe Biden to win and you want Donald Trump to win. And we probably both have some bias there.
Yeah. And also, you know what? You're probably going to accuse me of this whole racist theory. Great replacement theory is actually, yes, absolutely, 100%. Because you know what?
Explain it. Explain the great replacement theory to us.
Okay, the great replacement theory in this case is knowingly letting 12 million people in the country. Okay,
What do you mean by knowingly? When you say knowingly, what do you mean by that?
Well, you know that. Okay, what you can't prove is that it's anything. What I can't prove is that it's anything more than 8 million. But you have to.
But
you have to
I
admit
asked
that
about
there's at least
knowingly.
8 million new.
What's
8
knowingly
million,
though?
8 million.
No, I heard the number. I'm asking you what knowingly. What do you mean by knowingly?
Meaning you can't deny it.
Deny what?
That 8 million immigrants have arrived in the United States under the Biden administration.
Okay,
At least 8 million.
Okay,
Probably a lot more.
And they're supposed to be here to replace us. I do have a question.
No. Well, not just replace us.
Hold on.
No.
I wasn't done. I wasn't done. My friend.
I was
friend,
still
a little
talking.
impulse
I was
control.
still talking. You interrupted me. I'm still trying.
Oh
you know
my
what? You
gosh,
asked me a
this is
question.
not-
I'm trying
brother,
to
calm
answer it,
down.
and I haven't even finished answering it yet.
Because
now you're
brother,
accusing me of
brother, calm
me
down.
interrupting you.
Calm down, my friend.
Okay, you asked a
rest.
question.
Listen,
I have
no.
yet to answer it.
Okay.
You
shush.
asked a question.
hold
I
on.
have yet to answer it.
Okay, hold on.
And you are
Calm
accusing
down,
me
brother.
of
Calm
interrupting
down.
you.
Brother, calm down. I
No,
see. I see.
I'm not done
I
yet.
see. I see
I'm
your
not done
military.
yet.
I see
I
your
am
military
not
attire
done.
there. I know you can be disciplined. I know you have some discipline in you. Here's how this works on my platform. When I ask you questions and you start giving a long answer, sometimes I'm going to interrupt and ask clarifying questions, which is what I'm doing. You do not have carte blanche to monologue for 40 minutes. I will ask questions about the things that you say. And if you don't want to answer those questions, if it bothers you, that I'm asking those questions, I'm sorry.
If it
but
bothers
that's
you
how
that
this is
I'm
going to
asking
work, okay?
questions too, as you talk, if you want to interrupt
that
me,
didn't
I can
happen.
interrupt you.
Calm down, my friend.
Let's just be fair about it.
Let's just
okay?
calm down a little bit. Let's just calm down a little bit. How about that? Let's lower the temperature. Let's lower the volume. I'm legitimately trying to get your understanding of what you're saying. So I'm asking you. You said that there's 8 million, and I said, when you say knowingly, what do you mean?
I mean that it's known that at least 8 million have immigrated to this country.
But you said that we knowingly let them in. What does that mean?
Meaning, it's not something. It's something you can't deny. That's what I meant.
Okay, and who are these people that came in?
Do you know?
I know
Is
we know
there
roughly like
a
where
right and
we know.
wrong answer to that question?
No, I just wondering if you had an idea of who they were or why they were.
I have no
replacing
idea.
us. Okay.
I have no idea. That's part of the problem.
Do you know what percentage of these people are being granted asylum?
No, because no one is actually.
Would you like me to give you the number? Because we know the number.
0%. 0%.
Incorrect. It's around 4%.
How do you know?
Because we have the data on.
You have
Yeah.
asylum seekers applying
hold on,
for
my friend.
asylum.
Hold on, my
You
friend.
have applied.
Asylum because we also know who was granted asylum. So it is simple math. And it is simple math, and the data is provided by the federal government. Calm down. Good Lord, my friend. Calm down.
Good Lord.
Calm down, dude. Like, you were in the military and you're this hysterical? This is crazy. Like, keep control of your emotions, man.
Okay. Got it.
All right, let's just have a conversation.
Can I talk now, please?
Go ahead.
Without you being interrupting?
No, sometimes I'm going to interrupt to ask questions.
All right.
And you just need to control your emotions when I do that, okay?
Dude, you're not even worth talking to anymore. Goodbye.
You came to talk to me. I didn't come to you.
You just keep interrupting me.
Are you just going to complain now, or are we going to keep talking about this?
You're not letting me talk.
You're talking right now. I keep waiting for you to keep talking about what we're talking about, and you just keep complaining. Would you like to keep talking about the Great Replacement Theory that you think is real?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so explain to me how if only 4% of these people are having their asylum claims granted, how is that going to be enough to not only replace American citizens, but fill the 11 million jobs we have sitting unfilled right now?
Where are you getting that 4%? You're interrupting me again. I haven't even finished asking the fucking question. Okay?
Shushies.
I haven't finished asking the fucking question. Where are you getting that 4% or have applied for asylum when there's nobody even being vetted coming in? We don't even know how many people are on the terror watch list. We don't know anything about there is no applications for asylum. It's even on the news.
There's no applications for asylum?
Even the news, and I am still talking, you're interrupting.
It's time for... So remember, now I've got to mute you, because remember, what I said is, I'm going to interrupt you when I have questions.
I'm going to interrupt you. Just go ahead and fucking
I have a question.
Go ahead and kick me. Go ahead and kick me. Go ahead and fucking kick me.
I have a 4-year-old daughter, and you're more emotional than she is. Calm down. You are hysterical. I'm asking you a question about your opinion.
You're a fucking fascist that doesn't want to let anyone fucking talk now because you don't believe in free speech. What am I harassing you now?
No, you're just stupid.
You think it's just harassment?
You're just dumb and triggered and uneducated and incapable of having a conversation.
You're justifying it. Yep, you're justifying. Yep, you are just being a little fucking child that doesn't want to fucking let me talk. Okay, free speech. I have a right to be fucking heard. Okay, it's not, and that right is not
on my platform. You don't. Not on my platform. You don't, bitch.
On your yes, I have a right.
No, you don't.
No, you.
I can
can't
let you
deny
talk,
me
or I
rights.
can remove you.
You
I
can't
can do
deny me
whatever I
rights.
want.
You can violate my rights by kicking me off of your platform, and you can violate my rights by actually fucking. Okay. You don't even understand what.
Calm down, man.
That's not crazy. Let's just scream and interrupt it. Let's be disrespectful and just scream and not let people talk. Okay, 4%. Where are these 4% of people applying for asylum? There's nobody being given asylum. They're not even being given court dates. There's all these people. You know, the whole thing on the border. There's the whole thing on the border is because you know why 4%. They didn't.
Okay, shut up for a second.
No, absolutely
4%, 4% of the people who have applied for asylum have been granted asylum. You can get this information at justice.gov /EOIR /page /file 1107-366/DL. And it gives you the breakdown of asylum seekers, not only by date, but also by nationality. It'll show how many people applied for asylum from certain nations and what the grant rate is from each nation individually, and the total grant rate, which is around 4%. And goddamn, I hope that guy doesn't have somebody in his family that he's about to take that out on. That was hysterical. Oh, this seems great. Is this real? I don't know if, yeah. We may have an actual congressional candidate. I'm not sure.
Hello, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
It's nice to hear a quiet voice after that. That was good.
Yeah, it was a little loud. Yeah, for me personally, I'm voting for Joe because I feel like the best idols that are out there, the most famous and rich people have endorsed him. There's Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, P. Diddy, Bill Cosby, Jeffrey Epstein, and I think they carry a lot of weight in their endorsement for Joe Biden.
Hilarious. That was so funny. Anything else you want to add? A big swing and a miss on that one, huh?
No, I think that's just great endorsements. He has a better endorsement list too.
Are you actually running for Congress?
Oh yeah, I'm actually running for Congress. Yeah.
And you think that that's a good sign, a good sign that somebody you should elect is somebody who jumps on TikTok and immediately says the dumbest shit possible about some of those people aren't even alive that you named. I don't know how they're doing. I don't know how they're doing endorsements. But
well, dead folks endorse Joe Biden more than anybody else.
What
so
dead person endorsed Joe Biden?
Yeah.
Which one?
Well, I'm sure entire graveyards are voting for him.
Which ones?
Just point at a graveyard, and I bet you
just which ones? Why can't you answer a question?
Well,
you're going to Congress.
Just find
now
your
let's
local
pretend,
graveyard,
look,
and then you'll know which ones.
Yeah, I can go to my local graveyard, and now how do I decide which ones endorsed Joe Biden?
The dead ones, the ones that are in the grave.
So everybody in my graveyard endorsed Joe Biden. Where can I find those endorsements?
Oh well, they did it after they died. That they're active voters for him.
Yeah, but where do I find it?
They're the hardest ones to get to for sure.
Where do I find this information?
Well, I'm guessing that they have like a Grim Reaper, maybe an angel that comes and gives it to them. I'm not too sure. I don't have the contact information for that.
This is why MAGA is
bleeding. It would probably be Nancy Pelosi.
This is why no, it's my
closest
turn
to
now.
a skeleton.
This is my turn now. This is why you guys are bleeding voters. Because people like you who are remarkably stupid and not funny keep winning congressional seats. You're like a Temu version of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, you're just trolls. All of you guys are just trolls. You stand for nothing. You just worship Donald Trump, which is why you, a person who's running for Congress, who has very little following, came on a big platform with a lot of people watching and decided to show up and say the dumbest shit possible. Like, dude, you have an opportunity to speak to people who view things differently than you, and you showed up to troll.
Yeah, this is
why nobody takes your party seriously anymore. This is why you don't have followers, because you're just doing the Gunther Eagleman, Elon Musk Twitter troll thing, thinking that it'd be a good idea for you to run for Congress. I don't think you have a clue what's going on in this country. And I think if we spent 40 minutes talking, I would expose that you have no idea what's going on, but you just love Donald Trump and you love trolling. And if you'd like to test that, we can test that. Would you like to test? Could we test your knowledge of what's going on in this country?
Oh yeah, I would have a conversation with you as long as you don't rant like you just did a second ago.
That's what you
just
did. What's your platform?
Was nonsense.
What are you running on?
Well, if you want to see my platform, you can go to magacongress.com.
I don't want to. You can just tell me.
Website.
I have no interest in going to your website. Tell me what your platform is.
Yeah, so I'm a pro-family, pro-life, pro-gun candidate.
What does pro-family
that's the best
mean?
thing.
What does pro-family mean?
Education, specifically when it comes to kids with special needs, autism. I have a child with autism, so there's a large focus in my campaign for that.
What's your focus? What are you doing for kids with autism?
Well, there's IEP selection and school choice that needs to be done. Students are unable to access schools that they need without school choice. They're forced to go to local schools that are near them that might not be the best for their needs. So these needs need to be met with IEP and school choice.
Do you have concerns about the people who don't have the means to choose a different school, who can only go to the school in their vicinity, do you have concerns about those specific schools losing funding and having the poorest of Americans having the worst schools? Is that concerning to you? Could you turn off that, whatever that is?
Well, what that is people going to my website.
I don't care. Could you turn the sound off?
This live is bringing them over.
Great. You're welcome, by the way.
Well, it's very little compared to the amount, but yeah, I'm turning it off.
I'm
right now.
sure you've got like 400 followers. You're massive. We've all heard of you.
I
But
have
can you-
1,000
Are you
followers.
1,000? Massive. Okay. Are you concerned about how school choice disproportionately affects poor people?
No, I think that non-school choice is what disproportionately affects poor people. If you want to
Can
go
you
to a
explain
different
that?
district, well, if you want to go to a different district now, you have to pay out-of-pocket fees to go to that district. Damn it, hold on. I got to turn this off, so I can't talk at the same time as do that. Hold on, just real quick. Had to turn the notifications off. But
I appreciate
you
that.
have to,
Thank
you
you.
have to pay out-of-pocket fees to go to out-of-zip code schools. And school choice removes those fees and replaces them with vouchers that come from the state. So those
Yeah,
schools still
and
get
where do
those
those
out-of-pocket
where
fees.
does the money to those vouchers go? Like once you get the voucher, where does that money go?
That goes to the school that they are going to.
Okay, so it doesn't help you get if you do not have the finances in order to transport your child. Let's say you don't have a car. Let's say you are a parent who works and you cannot take your child to and from a school that's outside of where you live, which happens in poor areas, especially in big cities where people don't have reliable transportation. So what would happen is the people that do have enough money to go to different schools will all leave, taking the funding with them. And what's left at the school is a bunch of kids with poor parents in an underfunded school. Are you not concerned about those children?
Less kids in the school means they need less funding in the school.
No, they will have less funding. The
They'll
funding
also
rate
have less
the funding rate will remain the same, but there will be less funding. So even things like, and we've seen this across the country as we've opened up, like I live in Arizona, we have charter schools all the time, but we've seen across the country schools are forced to budget once charter schools open up and they lose that funding. Schools are forced to budget, and they're cutting things like food and air conditioning.
Oh, are those schools in blue districts or red? Because I am not aware of any school over here doing that.
I'm sure you're not, but it does happen. Are you concerned about schools cutting like breakfast programs and air conditioning due to lack of funding?
Is there examples of school cutting air conditioning? I mean, that seems like that would be
Yeah.
improper to do and would be a danger to the children. I'm not sure that's legal and allowed.
I think it's surprising that you don't know this. You're running to be a state senate or a state congressman or United States?
A United States congressman against
Okay,
Jason
you
Smith of the Ways
you
and
should be
Means Committee.
way more educated on this. Does that concern you that you don't know this?
I mean, it concerns me
Ben
that-
Shapiro has covered this on his program.
Well, I don't care what Ben Shapiro has to say.
Okay,
Yeah,
but he's
I'm
covered
sure,
it.
Well, it concerns me that there would be schools in blue districts that are cutting air conditioning off and cutting, programs of breakfast and lunch for students. That's against the law. Every 4 hours they have to be served food.
No, well, by the way, it's your party who's arguing against funding school lunch and school breakfast. It's in every state where this is an actual issue. It's the Republicans opposing it. So I'm very confused. Like, where do you stand? Are you in disagreement with your party on that then?
In my state, it's not what you've just said.
What
in my
state are you in?
Missouri. That is Missouri's District 8. My state, it's Republicans that are leading it.
Leading what? Putting air conditioners in schools that don't have them?
Well, all of our schools have air conditioners, so there's no need to push for that.
Okay, so what are you talking about then? We were talking about air conditioning.
I thought we were talking about breakfast programs and ensuring that they have funding. In Missouri, the
Okay.
Republicans are very focused on education.
Let's see. I haven't looked at Missouri for a while. Whoops. Breakfast.
People are telling me
What
to
is
turn
your
video
party
on. I
doing
don't know
for
how to do
school
that.
lunches in Missouri?
Oh, well, there's Missouri. There's state programs that replace it, and then there's also each county has programs that do it for them.
Who is Representative Seitz? Do you know who that is?
Representative Sykes, is that what
Yeah,
you said?
Seitz, Seitz.
That sounds like it might be western of the western part of the state.
Okay, let's see. Okay, he co-sponsored a bill with a Democrat to ensure that lunches were covered. Now, if that's the case, and I love that, I think that's great. If that's the case, are you going to add additional funding to the schools? Like
Yeah,
with
I have
these
no-
voucher programs, then do you also add additional funding for underserved schools?
Yeah, so the schools, if you live inside of a district, at least in the school choice that we have here in Missouri, if you live inside of a district, the district you live in is the one that gets the vouchers, so they can transport you to the new district. So if you live in, like, say, St. Louis County and you want to go to St. Louis City, St. Louis County gets the vouchers to transport your student to St. Louis City School District.
Not to transport, to educate your child in their county.
Well,
They're not
they
paying for
also get
transportation,
education.
right? I
Well,
know,
they
but
get, yeah,
I
they
just
get
want to make
both
sure people didn't
transportation
think you were
vouchers
saying. I just want
and
to make sure
education.
people knew you weren't saying that like they were paying for the transportation too. I just want to just didn't want you to be misquoted. That's all.
Yeah.
And I'm looking pretty bleak your rankings when it comes to public education.
Oh, well, pretty bleak, but still higher than New York or California or any of the coastal states. So,
But what are you using that? What are you basing that ranking on?
I forget which website that was. It was a 2021 though, so 4 years changes a bit.
Okay. Let's see. I was gonna do public K through 12. Okay. So
California
you're running on school choice, and you're gonna add a mechanism in there so that poor kids don't wind up being left behind. And what's that mechanism gonna be?
Yeah, and it's of course the voucher programs that are inside that to ensure that the schools are still getting funding for students that they have replaced, to ensure that transportation's done, and then
But
the
the
students
schools that
get
do
to the
poorly,
district.
the schools that do poorly, they're going to lose funding because the voucher program removes the funding from that school and takes it to that district and takes it to another one. So what are you going to do for those districts who lose people? How are you going to keep up with funding there?
Well, there's vouchers that would exist for those schools as well. There's multiple vouchers.
But people
It's not
wouldn't be
just one.
transferring to those schools, my friend. This is the whole point.
Yeah,
People are going
if
to
they leave,
transfer
they're
out of
still-
bad school. People are going to transfer out of bad schools where they may not get the rates that they see. So it's going to leave those schools more underfunded.
Well,
So I'm
well,
asking, do you have a mechanism for when that happens?
I think what's disingenuous is calling it bad schools. I think the word would be overpopulated schools, and if the population is more distributed between schools, I think that increases.
No, I'm talking,
education
when I say
overall.
bad schools, I'm talking about the outcomes, right? Like, are they graduating a high percentage of their students? How's the GPA? Are they able to get into colleges? When I say bad schools, I'm saying bad in the way that like they rank poorly. And those schools with bad rates of graduating people, bad rates of getting people into college, those people will lose any student they can, where the parents are like, hey, because parents are parents. We want the best education for our children. So parents are going to try and send their kids to the best possible school, but not everybody has the means to send their kids to another school. Specifically, poor people will not be able to move their children to other schools. And I'm wondering what you're going to do about that. Because to me, when I read the Constitution and it says promote the general welfare, provide for the common defense, when I look at the history of this country, I think our government is obligated when it comes to K through 12 education to give everybody an equal education. And what you're advocating for sounds an awful lot like, if you have the means, you will get a better education. And if you don't, you are fucked. That's what it
not
sounds
at all.
like. Okay,
What
so
I've
what are
stated-
you going to do for those underfunded
What I've stated
schools?
is that students per class is what affects the things such as outcome and rates of graduation, student attendance, and stuff like that.
That's not the only thing.
And if you equalize
But that's not the
students
only
per
thing that.
class-
Wait, but hold on. That's damn well. My mom is an educator. My mom's been an educator
Then
for
your
30
mom will
years.
tell you about
and
that.
she
Students
and
per
yeah,
class
and my
is the
mom
most
does tell
important
me about
thing.
this. And I've sat in their UEA meetings and I've heard them. And that is just one of many factors that determine a child's success. You know what's the most?
It's the largest
No, the largest factor is the education of their parents and the education they received at home before they went to school. That is the largest factor. And you are now saying that we are going to take these places where kids aren't getting an education at home. They may just have one working parent. That working parent may have grown up in a poor neighborhood where they weren't educated. And you're saying, we don't really care about them. We're going to pretend this is about class size. And then when the class size goes down and it still doesn't matter because it's not the number one indicator, what are you going to do? You're saying that you doing the voucher program is just going to make class sizes smaller, therefore it's helping poor people. I think you'd have a hard time statistically like arguing that.
Oh, well, I noticed that you've been saying poor people, and I think that you have referenced me to a class of economic.
I have no idea how much money you have. I have
very,
no
very
idea.
poor. I'm a poor
I'm
person.
just talking about statistics.
Well, like I understand the problems that we face as poor people, and I do not see the
Education is the number
one.
one. Would you say education is one of the number one issues affecting poor people?
No, I'd say poverty is one of the number one issues affecting poor people.
Poverty and poor, that's the same thing. What are you talking about?
That's the thing. It doesn't matter how poor you are.
Brother, I don't think you have a shot in hell at winning, but to be honest. This is bad. This isn't good. This isn't good.
If
Like
you endorse my opponent, that would help me tremendously, so please do.
Brother, with all due respect, and I'm not even saying this to toot my own horn, because like I am a nobody. When it comes to the internet, I am a nobody. But for you to try and like punch up, like I've got 30,000 followers, you have 1,000, and you're running for something. If I endorsed your candidate, it would have the person running against you would have far more power than literally anything you say. Like, I'm giving you an opportunity right now to speak to people, maybe some undecided voters in here. And look, there's a lot of people that despise me. There's Republicans in here right now, and what they're witnessing is you dodging questions. I've asked you many times now what mechanism you are going to put in place to ensure that poor kids continue to get a good education, and all you've said is class size. That's it. And then you tried to turn it into like, I'm calling you poor. No, I'm concerned about the education of those who cannot afford to get a better education. What are you going to do to make sure that they get a good education?
Yeah, so I've explained it a few times, and I think that you've misinterpreted the situation. I'm the one doing you the favor of speaking to a future congressman.
Bro, I'll bet you $1,000 you lose.
I'm not sure you want to take that bet. You don't know Missouri 8.
I maybe don't. Are you the leading candidate in Missouri 8?
I am currently against an incumbent. Well, there's some other guy named Grant.
All right, let's see. Missouri 8 district. Let's take a look at your district here.
It's a very large one.
All right, and who's the current congressman or woman in Missouri 8?
That is Jason Smith. You've probably heard of him.
Yeah, interesting. We've all heard of Jason Smith. All right, so what is your issue with Jason Smith?
Oh, what do you think my issue with Jason Smith?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you, my friend. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Passing $1 trillion bills that, that just extend the funding of the United States going all the way back. Just trillions and trillions of dollars. If you've heard him speak, he goes around the state specifically.
Why do you have a problem
down to us about how much $1 trillion
is? Why do you have a problem
is.
with those bills? What specifically in those bills did you have a problem with?
I have a problem with the number. That number.
Okay, no, but I didn't ask that, right? Specific. Like, if it was $1 trillion bill, but it brought in $2 trillion in revenue, would you still have a problem with it?
If it brings $2 trillion in revenue, then I might not, but it does not do that.
Might not. Wait, a $1 trillion plus, and you're like, I might not. No, you wouldn't. Right? Okay. So your issue here is that it adds to the debt, but I'm just wondering if there's things in those bills that you hate, or just the number.
Well, there are specific things. There's the there's nothing that's in Ukraine or anything like that. Specifically in this bill here, I'd have to
Which
go
bill
through
is this? Do you remember which?
This is
which
the
bill?
omnibus bill.
Okay, thank you. Okay, what's your issue with it?
Hold on, I have to go back to my notes here. I've been doing so much.
I feel like this is good practice for you. You're going to want to have a more ready answer for this. If you do other media, you're going to want a more ready answer.
Well, I do have to go to my notes to make sure that I'm reading all the things here. So no, there's the green energy passages that are in there. There's DEI.
What specifically in green energy are you opposed to that they passed?
Well, specifically in green energy that I'm opposed to is the reducing of traditional energy. I don't think that there's a need to do that. I think that both energy is completely fine side by side. There's no need to cut the progress.
You don't believe in climate change? You don't believe in our effect on climate change?
I believe the wind blows left or right and changes every day.
Yeah, and that's not even remotely an answer to my question. Do you believe that climate change and that humans have an impact on climate change, and that part of that, a major contributor of that human impact, is the emissions of CO2?
I guess it's the same impact that the cows had back in.
I'm just wondering if you think we have an impact. That's all I'm asking. You're
say
already great at dodging questions.
Minimal impact possible, as much impact as algae in the sea.
As algae in the sea? What do you mean by that?
I mean the algae in the sea that creates 70% of Earth's oxygen.
We're talking about carbon dioxide.
Yeah, in parts per million versus 70% of.
We're talking about carbon dioxide.
And parts per million.
When was the last time we had CO2 levels as high as they are now?
The Jurassic era.
Yeah. How many humans were walking the Earth during that time?
Zero. Not a single one.
Interesting,
yeah.
Right?
Right. It is interesting. How we got that high without a single human or car.
Yeah. You know why?
There was no
why was the CO2 so high?
Because a meteor hit the planet.
Because volcanic activity. God damn, dude, you got to get better at this. Yeah, there was constant volcanic activity, and that's not happening anymore. Do we have constant volcanic activity right now?
Are you saying we control volcanoes
Do
now?
we have no, I said do we have constant no. If we had that type of volcanic activity, which we don't control, CO2 levels would be much higher, but we don't have them.
It's
so
got to
this
be
is
the
this is
dinosaur
this
part.
disingenuous. Like I watched Thomas Massey get mopped on the floor with this. All you Republicans should have learned when John Kerry got Thomas Massey laughed off the stage trying to argue this shit. And here you are 10 years later making Thomas Massey's argument, dude. The reason that this is the highest CO2 levels have ever been. Where are the dinosaurs?
The dinosaurs are all dead. Yep.
Gone. Why?
Because they got hit by a meteor.
Because right? Things happen that
not because the climate changed and killed them, but because a meteor came from space and destroyed them.
Right. And why
It
weren't
turns
there
out all the
certain
parts in
Hold
the
on,
world
hold
control
on, my
meteor.
friend. I know. This is not your time. Why do certain animals live in different eras? Why do certain animals survive different eras when the CO2 levels are different?
Evolutionary traits.
Evolutionary traits, right. So now we've evolved and we have humans and we have even the animals we have today are a little bit different. And scientists, who are the ones that taught you why that dinosaurs existed, why dinosaurs left, why CO2 levels were so high in the past, these very same experts are saying, hey, human beings are not meant to have this type of CO2 in the atmosphere. Here's what it's doing to our planet. It's warming our planet. We had a problem with our ozone, which we're doing things that seem to be helping to fix that. But your argument is very strange to me. When Republicans say they want to rely on old energy, why not clean, renewable, sometimes free energy? Why are Republicans so obsessed with making these oil billionaires bigger billionaires?
Well, I can answer that. Say if a meteor is going to hit and destroy the planet like it did the dinosaurs, or volcanoes are going to pop out the ground, then we need to progress as fast as possible. And slowing ourselves down
Progress
for
for
clean
what?
energy.
Wait, progress for what? If it's going to wipe us all out.
Event, the doomsday, the meteor, the climate change event, when the oceans flood, we need to be survivable for that. And if we slow down to try to make it
Wait, what are we doing now to survive? What are we doing? What are we doing now to survive that?
If we did slow down climate change, how many days do we save? 30 days, 30 years, 300 years? If we are slowing down our progress, then we will not survive the event when it does.
No, it depends, because the cool thing about science is that, as you know, well, you may not know, but as you know, most people know, there are things we can do to correct the damage that we've done. We've seen repairs in the ozone layer. We've seen that actions that we take can repair some of the damage that's done. So it's difficult to understand, but your argument is, well, we're fucked anyways, so we might as well keep doing it. That's what I've been told by the
climate people, right? That we're fucked anyways. We've crossed the line, haven't we? That's what I've been told.
Do you take your talking points from the climate people?
Oh yeah, the climate scientists. I think that they
is that who you listen to?
When it comes to their doomsday predictions, yeah, sure. I think.
No,
that
I'm wondering if that. Okay, so you like their doomsday predictions, but you don't ever look at any of the science behind it.
Oh well, no, I like to use it as a counterfact, to make
it's
them.
It's not a
seem
counterfact.
crazy
It's something dumb that you said because you don't understand the science.
No, it's doomsday predictions to say the world's going to end and that humans can stop it.
Brother, the guy that's running for and most of your party is saying our country will not exist if Donald Trump doesn't win. Like, you guys can shut the fuck up forever about doomsday predictions. Donald Trump's been running on doomsday predictions for 7 years. Your party doesn't even have a coherent platform. All you're running on is everything's bad. Joe Biden is bad. I don't want to hear about doomsday predictions from you people.
And that America's going to live forever.
The immigrants are coming to take us over.
And that no matter what you do, you'll never kill.
DEI, this is why you guys are losing. You understand? You guys have been getting your asses kicked since 2016. In every election, you're losing elections in Alabama right now. Why have you not learned that what you're talking about doesn't resonate with Americans? And the reason it doesn't is because it's remarkably stupid and you can't explain any of it. Every time I ask you to explain something, every time, please, that was the middle of my sentence. Every time I've asked you to explain something, you do something silly like go, well, isn't that what the climate scientists tell us? You don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea.
I don't know what I'm talking about referencing climate scientists, and you're saying they don't know. That's good to know. I like that.
That's not even remotely what I'm saying.
They don't know.
No, that's not even remotely what I said.
That seems to be what you
now
just
I'm concerned about now I'm really concerned about the education in Missouri because you don't seem to have any sort of education.
So is
And
the
your
world going to
ability
end
to
by climate
actively
change or not?
listen
I'm
and
confused.
hear the things that I say, like you hear what I say and then just turn it into what you wish I said. Like you have this hypothetical scenario in your head where you're going to go on and you're going to prove people wrong. You've done a terrible job for your party. Any Republican in here is going to be embarrassed. This is bad for you. You should be able to answer simple questions without being combative if you're running for office.
Yeah, I sit here and I listen to you rant, and I'm going to keep doing it because, you know, I guess I'm your therapist today. I do charge $159.99 per hour, so if you could send that over to me, Cash App.
You're not even funny either. That's the other thing. Like, at least some MAGA people, their jokes are funny.
Well, you say I'm not funny,
You went
but
like
I
0 for
obviously
20 on
have
your
no,
jokes. You're not even
like,
funny.
humor. It's very sad, honestly, the lack of humor you do have.
I like when people tell a joke and nobody laughs, and then they're like, "It's your guys' fault
It's
that
you.
I'm not
Nobody
funny."
laughs. It's
Nobody
just
thinks
you.
you're funny.
You think I expect
like,
you to laugh?
there's not even like there's
I'm
not even
making fun of
Republicans
you.
in
You
here
are the
hyping you
joke.
up.
That's
What's
the
that?
joke. I'm pointing at you and going, "Ha ha! Look at that guy."
Hilarious.
And if you don't laugh at it, then oh well. You're the one being laughed at. That's the best part.
I don't think it's me that's being laughed at right now, my friend.
I guarantee it is.
Oh, you got guarantee. But yeah, okay. So what else are you running on? You're not going to do shit about education.
Well, I'm running on a
you
pro
for
Second
some,
Amendment
you for
stance.
some reason, yeah, okay, pro Second Amendment. What do you mean by that?
Well, I'm a carjacking survivor. I've had to use my AR-15 in self-defense before, so I stand by that.
I've had to use my firearm to protect my home too. You're talking to somebody who defends the Second Amendment. So.
Well, then that's perfect. We can agree on that. The Second
Right.
Amendment is a beautiful thing.
Do you think that we should have like some laws that make it hard for people who maybe are not mentally well enough to obtain a gun? Do you think we should have at least sensible laws to make sure that guns don't wind up in the hands of people who maybe shouldn't have them?
Yeah, I think that we should have sensible laws restricting the federal government from having guns. I think that you're right, that they should not have them, and they might not have the mental capacity to have them.
Yeah, hilarious. Do you think that people who are just everyday citizens who may not have the mental capacity to obtain a weapon, do you think we should have rules against them getting weapons?
Oh, who's the arbiter of that? Who decides that? Would we get Himmler back out of the grave?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe this will help. You're running for Congress. Let me explain how this works. You
Maybe
guys
we get Adolf.
Shut
and
up.
we dig him
Shut
up
up for a
as
second.
the
Shut up for a second.
arbiter
Let me
of
let me
deciding.
explain it to you. The arbiter is you guys introduce a bill, and if that bill passes, then the governor of your state, or if it's a federal law, the president chooses whether or not to veto it, and then that can be challenged by the Supreme Court if they view it unconstitutional. Those are the arbiters, and as set out in our Constitution.
Oh, okay, that sounds good. I like that.
Yeah, so do you support laws that make at the very least background checks?
I don't support unconstitutional laws, no.
I didn't ask that question. I asked you, do you support
Well, the Supreme
background
Court has
checks?
decided that many of these are unconstitutional.
I'm asking you if you support
stated out in
background checks. And it's crazy that you can't just say yes or no to that. You keep trying to make jokes
I think
that aren't
that
landing.
the federal government
yes
should have
or
background checks
no,
for every
do
one
you
of their agents
support,
that carry a rifle.
yes or no, do you support background checks when
Yes, for
obtaining
federal
firearms?
agents, they should be background
But
checked.
not for regular citizens, only
No,
federal
the government
agents.
should have no authority to do such a thing.
Okay, now federal agents already undergo a background check, so great
Good.
news, that law's already in place. But for everyday citizens, you don't believe in background checks. Great, got it. So you don't care who has a gun. You want everybody to have guns. The more guns, the better, right? And now I would ask you this: do you recognize?
Luckily, everybody's not evil.
Great. Do you recognize that out of all the countries in the world, we have the largest problem with school unalivings using firearms? Do you recognize that?
Do you recognize that the
I'm
largest...
just asking, brother. Don't deflect.
Hey,
Goddamn, dude.
I'm
This is
asking
why
you,
people
do you
fucking
recognize that
hate
the largest mass
politicians.
killing in
No,
schools
this is
was
why
not
people.
in the United States.
Be quiet. This is why people hate politicians, because
I've
I
asked
ask
you
you
the
a
question.
direct
Do you
question
recognize-
and you deflect. So I'm going to
No,
try
I don't
again.
recognize it.
I'm going
There's
to
the
try
answer. No.
again. Do you recognize that our country has a bigger problem than any other country
No.
in the world? Okay, then do you just not look at the statistics?
Well, have you not heard about the Ukrainian one that happened? That was much larger than any one that ever happened on U.S. soil?
Yeah, I'm talking about the totality.
Well, I'm talking about the mass destruction that happened
Yeah,
for
but
the
I'm
Ukrainian
not. So
people.
again,
Well,
don't stop
I
being a
am.
politician and answer the questions.
I'm not being
you're
a politician.
asked.
I'm
Yeah, you are. I
answering
asked
the
you a
actual
specific
question. You just don't
and you're
like the
running
answer.
from it.
You
I
think
know,
you're going to
because-
lead me down the road and get me in a gotcha, and you're not. I'm good at this. I played the
Listen,
game, buddy.
I got to be honest with you. You are dog shit at this.
Well,
You're-
luckily for
that's-
me,
this
I
is-
think
this
you're
is
dog
why-
shit at it. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, but people
There's a
watch
reason I
me.
joined your live. I
Nobody's
thought
heard
it would
of
be
you.
easy mode for me.
No, you joined my live because you wanted to talk to me, and I've never
No,
heard
I
of you.
said this guy
And
here looks
again,
like easy
I'm
meat.
a
Looks like a
nobody.
little, looks
Well,
like
you're
chum
not
in the
doing-
water. I'll take a bite
I
for.
know. You're doing so
I'll give him a little
well.
platform.
You're doing
for
so well.
him.
So you don't agree that the United States has more issues with violent acts at schools than any other country? You don't
Nope.
agree with that?
I don't agree
so
with it.
You
Nope.
just don't look at the data then.
Obviously, you don't look at the data.
Could you
I
name
have.
one country that has more problems than we do in that area?
I can
in
name
that
countries
area?
that have equal problems in that area.
Which ones?
There's Australia. There's Ukraine that has problems. You think that their schools aren't having mortar shells fall on them right now?
Australia?
Australia. I know. Remarkable, isn't it, that they have problems with schools?
I said on our level.
Yeah, on an equal level. Yes, they have problems.
How many school I guess we'll say shootings have happened in Australia?
Oh, you said violence. So there's lots of school
Well, I'm
violence.
trying to use TikTok. So that's my fault. I'm trying to use like TikTok approved
I get you. I understand.
language. So I'm specifically talking about pew-pews.
Well, then it would be mostly West or Eastern European.
And do any of them have more events per capita and more events total than us?
They have less events but more deaths.
So not more per capita and not more total.
Yeah, so where one of our events we have 20 kids, theirs is 300.
Okay, so in Australia, you mentioned Australia. In Australia in 1996, they had there were 41 deaths from mass pew-pewings. Do you know how many deaths they've had since? I mean, this goes up from 2013. So from 96 to 2013, how many deaths did they have? So that's 17 years. How many deaths did they have from 96 to 2013? Do you know?
Well, I'm glad they had one little time of
Zero.
peace.
The answer is zero. And
Well,
what did
that's
they
good.
do?
I'm glad
And
they had
what
a
did they
small
and what did they
fraction
do?
of time of peace.
And what did they do differently?
We can find times of
what
peace
did
where
they
we
do?
didn't have any
And what
here.
did they do differently?
I can find you years
and
between
what did they
shootings
do
here and say, what
differently?
did we do differently?
And what
Nothing.
did they do differently?
They did nothing differently. They just
They
didn't have them.
banned guns.
And guess what? They still have them post 2013. So what happened?
Well,
That's
yeah,
why you stopped at 2013.
guns have snuck
because
in the
post 2013.
No, wait,
they have
hold
them
on.
now.
Hold on. I stopped
Oh,
at
now
20
they've snuck in.
Hold on, I've stopped at 2013 because that is where the data stopped on that particular one. I can pull up the total numbers. Okay, so since 2013, you have had 12, 18.
Australia and New Zealand are not a friendly place when it comes to this.
There have been 43 total people in Australia since 2013. 43 total people. We do that in we did that in Vegas. 43 total since 2013. Wouldn't that be great if America had numbers like that?
I'm just glad we don't have numbers like Christchurch.
You are so cowardly in the way that you answer questions. Like you will not directly answer.
Well, you think you're going to get me in a gotcha, and I don't
No,
let you.
you're paranoid that.
Like I
No,
said,
you're
I've
paranoid
played
that.
this game for
No,
so
you're
long.
paranoid that
I'm
you're
not
going to
gonna,
be
I'm
caught
not
in
gonna
a
let
gotcha.
you do it. It's not going to work.
It's not a game, dude. This is a conversation, and you're incapable of having one.
No,
you view everything
you
like
think
it is a game.
that you're going to lead me down a road and be like, "Gotcha here," and it's not going to work. I don't do that.
I didn't.
I clearly lead the road. I don't follow yours.
Remember, I'm a proponent of 2A. I can look at what happened in Australia, and I can say that what Australia did has been far more effective than what we did, and there's room for us to get better. Does that mean we have to do what Australia did? Not necessarily, but does it mean we have a lot of room to improve? Hell yeah. Do you not agree that we have room to improve there?
Oh yeah, in schools when it comes to their security, 100%.
Okay. So that's what. So then, what would you do? How would you keep
Compartmentalize
weapons
the
out of
schools.
children's hands?
Well, there shouldn't be in children's hands unless they're going hunting or shooting anyway.
Yeah,
for
how would
practice.
you prevent that? Is what I'm wondering.
That's what the parents' job is to do. I would say in events
So
like what we see in
nothing.
parks,
So the answer is
parents are
nothing.
being held accountable.
So your answer is nothing. You would do nothing.
Well, crime is invented to
You just
define.
want to see it go away.
Law is invented to define crime, not prevent it.
Understood. But I asked what you would do, and you said nothing. Right?
Oh, what do you expect me to do? You expect me
I
to
don't
go
know.
shoot
This
a
is
man
you're
stand outside
running
the
for
school?
Congress, not me. I'm asking
What
you.
I
You
would
said
do,
nothing. Just say yes.
you
I
asked
would
me,
like to do nothing.
You asked me the question, what would I do to keep guns out of kids' hands? And that's not the hot topic. The topic is school
Then
security.
just say nothing.
What would I do
And
for
be-
school security?
Just
I
be-
would
No,
compartmentalize the
wait,
schools.
we'll get there.
I would
We'll
ensure
get
that
there.
they
Wait,
have
I didn't ask that
automatic
question
systems.
yet. We will get there, my friend. We will get there, my friend.
I know you want
But
exactly.
it's
You want
time.
me down
It's
the
time.
road, and
We
you want
will
to ask
get
a
there.
specific question
We
that is
will
a
get
fucking
there.
nonsense question.
I know, and you MAGAs hate when you don't let people narrativize.
How would
But I
you
just-
keep guns out of kids' hands?
I would have very, very strong background checks. I would require that if you purchase a firearm, you also be required to carry insurance. I would charge parents whose kids get access to their firearms for crimes if there is shown to be negligence by the parents.
Isn't that what I just said, that last one? But the first two, how do you background check a child who brings a gun to a school? How do you background check him?
You don't. Again,
Exactly, you don't.
Wait, hold
You
on,
can't.
hold
So
on.
what
Let
you
me
said is
explain.
nonsense.
My friend, you asked what I would do to keep the weapons out of children's
How does
hands.
background checking the parents keep it out of the kids' hands?
Well, let me explain to you. If you have a parent who should not have a firearm and who is not going to be a responsible firearm owner, and that person is not allowed to get a firearm, the chances of those people's children getting access to that firearm are better. I want firearm owners to be just the people responsible enough to have a firearm. People who will lock it up, who will keep it out of the hands of their children. And again, you have to carrying insurance, and so that when people wind up being the victim of a crime, they can go after the insurance. Why should innocent people lose a mother, a father, a child, and not be compensated for that? Why? What choice did they make to just show up and be unalived that day? Carry insurance.
Yeah, I carry insurance. I don't disagree with that. I think that insurance is a good thing. Do I think it should be required for children to have insurance to carry a gun into school? That's a weird, line of argument.
That's not what I said. I said the parents should have to carry insurance on the firearm. And if that firearm is used by anybody to commit a crime, you can go after the insurance.
I still don't see how that stops kids from bringing a gun into school.
It doesn't stop kids from bringing.
So why did you use that as the example of the question?
Well, why don't you let me finish my answer? It doesn't stop them from
It's
bringing.
because the question's a bad question.
My friend, let me finish the answers. What it does is it incentivizes people to have good behavior. So if you have a parent who it's impossible for their kid to get access to that firearm, if that kid wants access to that firearm and they can't get it, that prevents the child from taking that weapon to school.
So you guys say that's what that makes the parents think twice. You don't think that jail and possibly life sentences makes them think twice?
Yeah, but parents aren't going to jail and getting life sentences for
In
their
Parkland,
kids
they
taking
did.
their guns.
New precedent set in Parkland shooting. Those parents are in jail.
Good.
I agree. Good. I said it. And then you said it like you disagreed with me and then repeated what I said.
Well, we've seen that, but since that ruling, have we seen a massive decrease?
No, we have not.
No, we have. So it doesn't. So it doesn't work, right?
Yeah,
so
it turns out that these ideas don't stop evil people from killing.
So we need to do more. It sounds like.
It sounds like what we need to focus on is the security of the schools.
Yeah, sure. We saw that in Texas. The whole good guy with a pew-pew, they don't do shit. They're all cowards too.
That's not what I said. I said the security measures of the school.
Yeah,
that includes drop-down gates,
Okay,
automated locked doors, systems like that to
So you want-
compartmentalize the school to keep a shooter from moving through it with free access.
Do you recognize on any level that only in this country, only here, do we have a party who, instead of doing something about the violence, they're like, we're gonna send our kids to like maximum security schools. They're gonna have to go through metal detectors. They're gonna have to go through searches. Like, you want your kids going to essentially a high
So you don't care about
security
the kids'
prison.
safety? You don't care about dead kids?
I do care about that, but
It
I
doesn't
think that
seem
it's.
like it
I
if
think
you're more worried about a jail school.
No, what I would like to do is I would like to have the kids have the best of both worlds. I would like for them to be safe at the schools where they can play outside.
It sounds like you'd like to weaponize the deaths
in and
of
out of
children for your
schools.
political advantage, and that's sick.
What's
if
that?
I do
I'm not running for anything. What
Well,
are you
no,
talking
but your
about?
side, that's what you're doing. You're weaponizing the deaths of these children for a political advantage
No,
and
I'm
your
not.
agenda, and it's
No,
a
I'm not.
sickness, and I deeply despise it, to be honest with you.
I know you do. That was great. Did you steal that from Ben Shapiro?
No, that's just
you're
me.
you're
That's
doing the
purely
same
me.
thing. Alex Jones literally made all of his money weaponizing the deaths of children. Like shut the fuck up forever.
Well,
about
I
that.
mean, who's
you
the one
guys won't
who
stop
put him up
talking
and made
about
him
you
famous?
guys won't stop
ABC,
talking.
CNN.
You guys
I didn't
won't
watch
stop
him.
talking about children. You weaponize children so that you can attack trans people. You
No, we
guys
talk about the
weaponize
security
children
of
at every
schools,
event.
and
You
instead
guys
you start ranting about
talk
jails
about
because you
protecting.
don't care about
You
kids
talk
at all.
about. I'm talking.
You never
I'm
did.
talking, my friend. I'm talking.
You
It's my
never
turn.
cared about them.
I'm
You never
talking,
did. You
my
never
friend.
will.
I'm
It's a
talking,
lie.
my friend.
And
It's
we all
my
know
turn.
it's a lie, and it's
my
okay.
turn, my friend. Have some impulse control. Losing candidate.
Here,
for
I'll
Congress.
let you go. It's fine. I'll
Thank you.
hold back for you.
Thank you. I would appreciate that. Your party pretends to care about children. Do they pass health care for children? No. Are they doing anything to help poor children who are undereducated?
Oh, we ensure they're born
no,
and they're
no,
alive
you
in this
just
world.
Jesus.
We don't murder
how-
them in the womb.
Did you just say you were going to let me finish?
Well, once you start pretending like you care about kids that you killed in the womb,
I do
then
care
I
about
can't
kids.
do
Let's
that.
talk. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, the millions executed before birth.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Oh, you're fine with that. All
Yeah.
right. So, but what about criminals that are executed? Are you fine with that?
I'm not in favor of the death penalty.
Okay, so the U.S. Constitution says that the only time that the death penalty is allowed is if a unanimous jury decides so after criminal conviction.
Yeah.
U.S. citizens are not allowed to be murdered before that happens. That means due process is not afforded to these unborn children. Sorry to tell you.
How do you become a U.S. citizen?
You are made inside the United States and born here.
How do you become? How do you prove that you're a U.S. citizen?
By being a U.S. citizen.
How do you get a fucking ID? How do you get an ID?
Well, you don't get an ID till you're like 16 years old. You have to go with a birth certificate.
How do you get an ID? I said. How do you get an ID?
You apply for one at the DMV.
And what documents do you have to have?
Birth certificate, et cetera,
And when do you get that birth certificate?
You get it at birth.
So it looks an awful lot like the United States government gives you your rights at birth, not before that.
Well, the Constitution says that your rights.
The Constitution.
The Constitution says that your rights come before the government. That they don't give it to you. You are born with them and made with them.
What does
it says that life, liberty,
say about the unborn?
Happiness is in there.
It doesn't say life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
You're right. That's the independence of.
Yeah. The independence of what?
The Declaration of Independence. Sorry about that.
I don't think you know what our government.
Hey,
does,
it's all good. You guys can argue to kill U.S. citizens before due process. It's not going to work for you. It's a horrible.
I don't believe. If
it
you,
won't
if
go
you
for
came
you,
to me,
and it's going to
if
be
you
bad
came
when
to
it looks
me-
into the future.
If you came to me and you tried
When
to
millions of children are
infringe-
born and they look back at you savages, they're not going to look back in favor.
Listen, brother, I don't think that you have a good idea of who's going to look back at who. as
No, I
savages.
quite do.
I
Yes.
don't think you do.
They're not
I really
going to look back at
don't.
us and
Like,
say the people
you're-
who are advocating for the people to be born
They're
are savages.
already
There's
doing
nothing
that.
savage about that. We don't
Brother-
believe in the idea
brother-
of sacrificing children so
brother-
that the climate change fairies
brother-
will not end the
brother-
world. That's not us. That's
brother,
you guys.
nobody believes that, and you pretending that that's what other people believe so that you can spin
That's
it.
exactly
no,
what many people
no,
will
nobody.
believe.
You
You'll
think
be
we
remembered
bel-
like the Aztecs
Shut
who
up.
sacrificed people on stones for the gods.
Hilarious.
You'll look like fools. You'll look like savages. That's what you will
Yeah,
look like.
That's what it'll be. That's what.
Yeah,
it'll
you'll be written down next to the Aztecs and the
Well,
old
good
tribal
luck in
people.
your campaign. I imagine this
Well,
is the last
luckily I
time
don't
we hear
need
from
luck.
you.
No, you'll be
Well,
hearing
you
from
do
quite
because
a
you have
lot.
1,000
No.
followers. I tried to Google you. I can't even find anything. On
You'll be
Google
seeing me
about
for
you.
at least 2 years in Congress. And I can't wait for it. Maybe I can invite you up and then give you a better, a better platform.
$1,000 bet. $1,000 bet you don't win. Want to do it?
Well, I would take that, but I'm not sure you have $1,000. So
I bet I have more money than you do. $1,000 bet.
show me the $1,000. We'll take the bet.
What do you want me to show? You want me to show you an account that has at least $1,000 in it?
Yeah, I want to see you show me $1,000.
And you'll take the bet.
Yeah, show me $1,000.
Okay, there's more than that in my checking account. If I DM you a picture of the balance of my checking account, you will bet me $1,000?
I want to see the picture of your checking account. Yeah.
All right, I'll DM it to you, and let's see if you have the courage.
Yeah,
I'll
I
cover
agree.
it tomorrow.
The host is a big old fat baby.
You did really well today. You really
No, I
convinced a
did.
lot
I
of
did.
people.
I know that you
did.
Democrats don't like that I'm on TikTok. There's a MAGA
I've
guy.
never heard of you, dude.
face.
Nobody's ever heard of you. We
And you
don't
guys
care
are
that
getting
you're on
very
TikTok.
angry about it. But guess what? I'm here. I'm here to stay, and I'm not going away. I'm only 27. You had to deal with me for decades, baby.
You're not
It's
going
just
anywhere, pal. You
beginning.
have 1,000 followers, and nobody
This
knows
is just
who you
the
are.
start of a great,
start of
great decade and era that you'll see me in politics, and you're not
Yeah.
going to end it. You're going to hate it. In fact,
I bet.
If you hated Donald Trump, just wait
Yeah.
until I get in there.
Wait
You're
till
not
you
gonna
get
like
in
me
there.
at all.
Wait till you get in there.
It turns out 2016, 2020 was the birth of MAGA, and I'm
Yeah,
here now. I've been
it was
born,
the birth
and I'm
of
here to
MAGA.
lead it.
Let me ask
and
you a question.
are gonna hate it, my
Let
friend.
me ask you a question. This birth of MAGA that happened, did the MAGA movement get bigger or smaller in 2018?
Oh, it got stronger.
Smaller. 2020, how'd it go?
Stronger. It
What-
got
If
stronger.
it got
we now hold,
stronger, if it
we
got
now hold a
strong,
bigger position in the GOP than ever before, and we are going to take it over.
yeah, but the
The
GOP
is dead.
but the
MAGA is the
GOP
party. We run
Okay,
it.
all right, it's my
It's
turn.
no longer McConnell you have to talk to. It's people like me.
Yeah, nobody's heard of you. The GOP has been losing elections
You've
since
heard of me,
Donald
and that's
Trump.
what
I
it
still
started
don't.
with.
I still don't know your name, and I
No,
won't remember your name
James
tomorrow.
Snyder, Missouri 8, and believe me, you will.
Yeah, sure, but
A year from now, you'll go, that's
Shut
that
the
fucking guy
fuck
from
up, dude.
I'm so
Let
mad
other
that guy
people
took
talk.
over.
Oh my god. Okay, get his mute while I talk. You don't get to just talk about how great
you're
you
gonna
are.
hate it
all
so
the-
much.
Brother, do you want to let other people speak? Like, we heard you. You think
I
you're
mean,
great.
all the
We
way-
get it. All right, you let me know when you're done, and then I'll go. Go ahead. Get it all out. Go, Jen. Let him talk. Get it all out there, Chief. You gotta unmute, my friend. You probably didn't realize you're muted. You gotta unmute. If you're talking, nobody hears you.
I'm trying to figure out how to turn this camera on. They really want to see my beautiful face.
So you're just gonna do your own thing. I try and talk and you won't shut the fuck up. I give you the floor and you go quiet. What's wrong with you?
There we go. How's it going?
No shot, man. You've got
James
no
Snyder
shot.
here. I'm here. I've come to show my face to you guys. I know you love it. It's that handsome face that you've all wanted to see. Make sure that if you're in Missouri, you come out Missouri 8, August 6th. You vote for me. The clowns like this over here are gonna fucking hate it. It's gonna be great. Let's upset the nation. All right, I'm gonna peace out. I gave this guy enough platform.
You're on my platform, you idiot. You requested to come on my platform. That's their best, guy. This is who MAGA is. Like, that's MAGA. Can he tell you one thing that he doesn't like? They don't believe in climate change. They believe in the Great Replacement theory. They want to give all the money to schools to like middle class and rich kids. Yeah, embarrassing. That's embarrassing. That, by the way, that dude's 28. Whew. 28? Is that what he said? 28? He's 28 years old. That looked rough. 27? Oh, worse. It looks like Marjorie Taylor Greene hit hard times. That was tough. MAGA's best and brightest. I don't know. I hear banjos. 58. I think it's all friendlies in the chat. I'm not doing friendlies right now, guys. I know, but you got to know when you come to this platform, we're not doing panels. We're not doing a bunch of friendlies. We just don't do that. I feel like it derails conversations and you can't ever get somewhere. There you go. If you guys want to vote for, what was it, Jason? Jason, was that his name? Missouri 8th Schneider, SCH? Is that what it was? Like, if you try and, I can't even find him when I Google him. It's pretty, does anybody find him when they Google him? I can't find him. There he is, James Snyder, Ballotpedia. And he's running against an incumbent Republican. He is not the only person in the race. It appears there is one other person in the race. Grant Heithold, who is a farmer and a businessman. Let's read Jason's or James. I keep saying Jason. James. All right. Let's see James's experience. Nothing. Does he have a website? I don't know. There. Let's find this campaign website. Oh no, there's no link to the website. Oh, there it is. His website is magacongress.com. Has a picture of James and maybe like a set of twins there, 2 sets of twins possibly. Maybe not. Maybe their kids are just all in early succession. He hates DEI. He calls DEI Jim Crow. Ensuring Border Security and Immigration Enforcement Act. Equal protection of unborn citizens. Congress read. I don't. He used like AI for his pictures. My congressional run is like AI pictures of a very, very handsome man. He has a post that from it's Donald Trump's mugshot, and he has it titled "Terrorist Group Releases Hostage Photos." And just if you were wondering if it had any ratings or any likes, 0 likes, 0 ratings. This website looks like it was. This is tough. This is tough, James. I wish you the best. I hope to God that James Snyder is the Republican nominee for Congress in the Missouri 8. If that's the case, Missouri 8 may just fall. My mic went bad? All right, I'll try that. Is that better? Good? Sometimes the mic goes bad. That's great stuff. Is there any op in the box? I don't know. Looks like she cleared it. Jen cleared the box. I see you, Rev. Are you opposition? I can get back. I had so much Ginny Thomas stuff today, and now I can't read it because I'm afraid I'm going to get taken down. Isn't that wild that like just reading what MAGA people say is the most likely thing to get you taken down? Put on some chapstick. All right. Shit. Maybe we'll just, what is it, 11:38? Yeah, look, I'll take RFK, folks. I'll take a RFK person. If you're, you don't have to be. I'm telling you why. The prompt is tell us why you won't vote for Biden. You can be voting for Cornel West. You can be voting for RFK. You can be writing in your own name. I don't care. Just that's what I want to know. I want to ask people why they're not voting for Biden, and then let me know if you're voting for James Snyder. Did I get it right that time? I don't know if I got it right that time. Never forget what RTP is. He's an extremist. Liberty, let's come on up. Let's have a talk about it. I would like to know what my extremist views are. Come on up. There you go. Thanks, Jen. Thanks for that. She won't come up. What does that even mean? Look, I might be an extremist on some things. I could be. I don't think extremism is like in and of itself the worst possible thing. It's like what you do with your extremism, right? Like if you have really far right or really far left ideas, like that doesn't necessarily mean you're an extremist. You can have crazy ideas. Like I would say that Aaron Rodgers has crazy ideas. He's not an extremist. He's just dumb.
Hello.
The Talk, welcome.
Hi. So I guess it says, tell us why you won't vote for Biden.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first I'd like to say I'm definitely not a MAGA, but I just feel like Biden is probably the biggest disappointment in my lifetime as voting for anybody. I expected such bigger and better things. I thought he would bring back the normalcy. And if anything, he's just created more chaos. I feel like if you can't vote for Trump, which is understandable, then you got to go with Kennedy.
What did you expect out of Biden where you feel like he fell short? What things did you think he was going to do?
More Obama-ish, more leadership, and I feel like he is kind of. They threw him out there to win, and there are people taking. He's not running the show. It's pretty obvious his mental capacity is fading quick. I don't think another 4 years he's going to make it.
Why do you say that? Give me an example of it.
Okay.
What makes you think he's not running the show?
So an example of that is so people were like raving when he did the State of the Union address because he actually made it through it. No president ever has that.
To be clear, nobody on the left was celebrating that he made it through it. The only people saying that we were celebrating that he made it through it are people who don't like him. None of us were saying that. That's a false narrative. Because I've watched Joe Biden speak at length. I've watched Joe Biden speak at length multiple times. I know what he's capable of. I actually think this idea that he can't get through sentences and that he can't complete thoughts, I think it's all bullshit. It seems to always occur on like really ceremonial things when his mind is elsewhere, when his mind is not on like some ceremony that he's at. That seems to be where he has his most troubles, which is where, frankly, most of us would have trouble. And the things that we care about the least, he does struggle. And I think that you could probably attribute that to his age. But when it's time for Joe Biden to show up, he always does.
Well, so here's what I'm getting at with that. No president in the history of since I've been alive have we ever had to question this, and we are questioning it. And the truth is,
wait, what are we questioning?
his ability to actually have the mental capacity to make the next 4 years.
Only his opponents are.
No. This is like a real deal here.
Oh, for the
He
next 4. Oh, for
struggled.
the next 4 years. Yeah. Sorry, I
Yeah,
didn't.
He
That clicked at
struggled.
the end. Yeah.
So I had.
That's
so
fair.
and the reason that I think that I take this more serious. I had a family member. It was the same thing. And once this started, it was like we all said 3 years later, "Wow, that went quick."
Wait, you remember Reagan, right? Like, it was
Yes.
widely reported that
They
Reagan
hit it,
in his.
and they hit it. They hit it.
Well, so let's not say that this was like the first time that this has
This
happened.
is the most. This is what Reagan was like at the end, not the beginning.
I think Reagan was worse than this at the end, if we're being honest. And
But it was at
every
the
story
end.
that's ever come out says that his wife was running the show.
And it's quite possible.
So I don't know if you bumped the mute or what happened, but you're muted.
Yep.
There you go.
I don't know if you bumped the mute.
Oh, did you get a
No,
phone
no.
call?
I had my phone rang. I'm on my cell phone.
Just hop down and come back up. It'll fix it.
My phone rang. I'm on my cell phone.
There we go. Where did the chat go? I don't see the chat now. That's weird. TikTok is glitchy as hell. Hopefully when he comes back, the chat pulls back up. I can't see the chat. There it is.
Hey, sorry
There we
about
go.
that.
No, not a problem.
Yeah. Yes, and we later found out a lot about the Reagan issue. It was kind of hidden, and it was later, but it was definitely not in the beginning of his second term. It was at the end, and that's where I question what we're going to do, because honestly, this is going to happen fast, and it already is happening, and I just feel like it's not.
I don't get, to be honest with you, I don't get that. Like, I've
Really?
I've had family members with dementia recently. One of my best friends' mom, they lost her to dementia, and like I've seen it. I've seen dementia in real time, and I'm not a doctor. I don't think either of you are either, and I don't think either of us are making that claim. But like the people that they didn't remember who I was. They didn't remember what they did yesterday. Like Biden's 80 years old, and sometimes he recalls things incorrectly. I do that all the time.
Of course.
I recall even stories that I think happened. Like if I talk to my siblings, all three of us have a different recollection of how the story happened. And sometimes it'll like refresh our memories. But when we're talking about like, when you say it's progressed quickly, I don't know what you're talking about, because the people that I saw as it progressed, like they forgot who they were. Joe Biden has never done that. In fact, when you go read and hear what he said to her, he seemed like he could remember a lot of details, remarkable amounts of details.
Now that you bring that up, there's my point exactly. In hers report, it clearly stated there's an issue.
No, what her said is he didn't bring charges because he didn't have evidence to bring charges, and he thought that a jury would view Joe Biden as a feeble old man.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Hur is not a doctor either. Robert Hur is not
But did you read the whole thing?
I absolutely did. I just told you what it said.
Well, there was more than that. You're actually taking out honestly,
what am I missing?
There was a lot more than that.
What am I missing?
Well, he was talking about how he couldn't remember different circumstances over and over again. I mean, there was more.
Which one?
Well, I don't have it in front of me, but you go read it and you'll see.
I've read it multiple times, and what you're saying.
So you're saying there wasn't anything in there that stated that he couldn't remember certain dates and times in different situations. He couldn't remember when he was vice president. I mean, this is
So what he said is he would say the years wrong a few times, which, honest to God, like I do that all the time. Okay. I have to pick a time in my life of like that I remember in order to try and remember years. I get them wrong all the time. Yeah, he got years wrong.
And I do too. But so we'll agree to disagree on that. But
let's agree on this. How about when Robert Hur said, "You seem to have an almost photographic memory"? That's what he said to Joe Biden in his report. How do you square that? How do you square him saying you seem to have an almost photographic memory with you don't remember anything?
Okay, so we'll agree to disagree, but I think a lot of America on both and all parties are worried about. This is a big issue. We hear about it all the time.
You say that it's. I just want to say that as somebody who regularly runs in left circles, this is not a big issue on the left. It's not. We all recognize that we would like, most of us recognize that we would like somebody younger, somebody who's maybe a more charismatic leader, maybe somebody who can get more energy in the voting base so that we can get things passed. I agree with that. Like, if you're going to compare Obama and Biden, I would love to have Obama's charisma right now as a leader. Anybody who says charisma doesn't matter as a leader is a liar. But when we're talking about like the actual competence to do the job, not one person has ever been able to lay a finger on Joe Biden and say, like, here's an example of why you can't do the job. This is just right-wingers saying this, RFK drumming up the same lines, and it's not true. And RFK and Donald Trump are both on the record of saying remarkably stupid things that weren't true, stuff that they don't remember.
Of course.
So did they both also have dementia?
But no, this is what I'm saying.
See, nobody ever see. That's the thing. Nobody accuses them of that.
Well, I think it's a very obvious thing going on with Biden, and I think
No,
I commend you.
He has a
I
speech
commend you
impediment.
for holding tight on that.
Wait,
but-
no, he has a speech impediment. He's always stumbled over his words.
Oh, that's not really it. You know what I'm
What
talking
do you mean? Go back. You said you longed for the Obama years. Go back and watch the vice presidential debates with Joe Biden and tell me that he doesn't stumble over his words.
Yes,
it was the
but-
biggest criticism of him at that time.
You know, I wish that you and I could sit down in my living room and we would get out there and we'd look at the last 12 times the guy's been in front of a camera and you'd
All right,
be
let's
like,
pull it.
okay,
I've got a computer
you're
right here. Let's pull it up.
Oh,
He's
you're
speaking-
gonna-
somebody
you're
said he's
gonna
speaking
cherry
right
pick.
now. Do we want to pull
You're
up?
gonna cherry pick.
No,
Oh,
he said
let's
he's
not-
speaking right now. What do you mean cherry pick? What would you do? You wouldn't cherry pick?
I said, listen, I'm going to get back to work. It was great. I'm going to look for you again. I have to tell you, I'll watch it while I'm at work. For every show that you give me, I could give you 10. The guy's got issues.
This is him speaking right now. This is live right now. You're telling me, like, you accused me of cherry picking.
No,
I literally
no,
went
but
to
I
him
can't-
speaking right now.
I know, but I really can't see and tell what's going on.
You can't hear? Why do you
Well,
need to see to hear?
Okay, don't get mad.
No, I
I'm
feel
just
like no,
saying.
I feel like you have an opinion, and this is the problem that we really have in America, is when you have an opinion and your opinion is challenged, most Americans run. Most Americans are unwilling, and specifically, almost specifically, white American men, which I am one of,
Because
so I
I'm
can
having
speak.
a hard time taking your argument against it seriously.
Yeah,
because
and that's the
anybody with any
problem.
common sense, and I know you have common sense, knows that the guy is failing mentally.
This is the problem. When I ask you for examples, the first example you gave me about Robert Hur was wrong. It wasn't even what he said. And you asked me if I read the whole thing, and I said I did. And I gave you direct quotes from Robert Hur saying he has a photographic memory. And then the problem that you have here is no, hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
The problem we have in America is that when your version of the facts is challenged, you're like, you know what? No, I'm not ever willing to admit that I'm wrong.
Because
So I'm
I'm
going to say agree to disagree, and I'm going to walk away. If you're losing in a debate,
I'm not losing.
If you're not providing any evidence, and if somebody's providing counter evidence, the least you could do is be like, you know what? I don't have evidence to back up my claim. Maybe I should go revisit my claim. But what you shouldn't do is go back to your claim and be like, now I'm going to prove that I was right. You should revisit the claim that Joe Biden has dementia, and you should go see if maybe your research is biased, because I think your research is biased. I
Okay,
see
so
right-wing Twitter
maybe
every day.
disagree.
I see every clip that they take out of context of Joe Biden every day. I bet I see the same stuff you do. The difference between you and I is I also watch Joe Biden speak. And I don't think you do that. If we're being honest, I don't think you spend time watching full Joe Biden speeches.
I watch a lot.
Which
but that's
was
what
the
I'm
last
saying.
one you saw him speak live at?
Well, hang on a second. I just wanted to say, I am at work, so I can't, and I don't have the ability to bring stuff up. But if we sat in the living
When's
room,
the last time you saw him speak live?
on the news, I watch all the news channels, and he just recently.
When was that? What did he
Well,
talk about?
Okay, so here's an issue that we're seeing. We're seeing he flubbed his cue card. They give him help, and he still has trouble with it.
Anchors on the news do that every single day.
See that? I mean,
Do they
you
all
gotta
have to?
break
See,
the
this is the
bait off.
thing, dude. You're not consistent. We all flub. If you were in I'm on camera every day. I fuck up every single day. I
Sir,
say
but the
something
difference-
wrong or
the
something
difference-
dumb every single day.
The difference is, sir, you clearly flub, and it's not your brain capacity. You're definitely an intelligent human being that has his shit together.
What's your credentials to like you?
Come on.
Why are you saying Joe Biden doesn't have brain capacity?
Joe,
give me an example of because he messed up a cue card.
I feel like we're not getting anywhere with this argument. You just disagree with the what I say.
We're not getting anywhere because every time I ask you for an example, you resort back to, well, I don't know, but this is my opinion.
Well, you twisted it. The her report was so embarrassing to the administration that they thought it was an embarrassment.
It was wait, what did they fight? What did they fight?
The administration was angered by it. It was on the news. Everybody knows this.
They were angered by Robert Hur saying
they were
that.
Angered by their
Hold on.
Okay.
The only thing Joe Biden got mad about is he said that the claim was, and this is before we saw the report, the claim that was out in the news was that Joe Biden could not remember when his son died. And Joe Biden's like, of course I remember that. I think about it all the time. And then when we got the transcript, it turns out that Joe Biden knew exactly when his son died. He said the date exactly. Then somebody else said the year. So Joe Biden was mad that people were saying that he didn't remember when his son died. Would you not be mad? If you sat for 12 hours and walked this guy through your home and showed him every bit of evidence he asked for, and then the news report came out that, oh, you didn't remember when your son died, and you knew that was untrue, Joe Biden was vindicated on that.
This goes deeper than that, but we'll leave it at that because I can't.
Deeper than what?
Change your mind.
I'm not trying to. Wait, but you're wrong here.
I think most of America agrees with me, even people that are going to vote for him.
I don't care. It's wrong.
I know it's okay.
Would you rather have people agree with you or be right?
I would rather you say, you know what? I know he's declining, but I still don't see a better candidate. I'm still going to vote for him.
See, this is and I will just say to you that you have a lot of arrogance to think that your opinion is right without being able to explain why your opinion is right. If you're going to show up and have an opinion, either one, bring facts, or two, admit that maybe you're not right.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to admit something. It's only
an opinion. Let's talk about what you just said. You said the Biden administration got mad about the Hur report.
It's true. That's true.
Why were they mad?
They were mad because Hur reported that he wasn't able to remember multiple different episodes in his life. He wasn't able to remember the years he was vice president. He mixed up a lot in the conversations, enough that Hur had to state it in record to give him pretty much an out for getting put in front of a.
Except for that's also not true.
Okay.
Hur said there is no evidence that Joe Biden committed a crime. I have no evidence to put Joe Biden on trial. Oh, and by the way, if he was on trial, people would think too highly of him. Shocker that Hur, who is now working for Republican think tanks, quit his job and now works for Republican think tanks, for some reason at the end of his report that totally exonerates Joe Biden, decided to say, oh, but the courts would find him a sympathetic figure because of his age and his poor memory. But in Hur's own words in his report, he said it appeared Joe Biden had a photographic memory.
Okay. All right.
See, you didn't know that, did you? Be honest. Did you know that?
Listen.
Did you know that?
You're taking parts of excerpts of this and trying to make it a win.
Did you know that? Did you know that?
I did not know that. I did not know that he had a photographic memory.
And this is all I'm going to say to you is you are low information. You don't have all the information. And I would just say to you, like, whether you vote for Kennedy, Trump, Biden, I don't care. But I would just say you don't have all the information. And the information you're being fed is by people who hate Joe Biden, RFK, and his campaign, or not hate, but are opposed to him. You're getting your information from right-wing or RFK sources, and they are incomplete.
That's the problem. That's the problem. I'm not. I wish
who'd you get it
was a better situation.
Then who'd you get that information from? Then who'd you get that? Then where'd the information come from?
I watch the news all the time. I see all news outlets, and it's pretty obvious. That's okay if you don't want to see that. It's your right.
I'm telling you things about the report that you didn't know,
well,
and you're continuing to pretend like you know about the report.
Then, if it was such a good report,
did you read it?
Yes. If it was
how many pages was it?
I don't. Come on now.
You didn't read it. You're lying.
You're getting upset.
You didn't read it.
I would be willing to bet. I would be willing to bet that if we sat and read that, it would just upset you because you'd remember there's a lot more in there than you
Do you want to sit here and read it? I'll read it right now.
I would love to, but I'm at work. I'm working, so.
Yeah, I don't think you read it, my friend. I think you're lying about that.
I did. It was
then
actually.
why didn't you know that he got the date right when his son died, and that Robert Hearst said he had a photographic memory? Those are huge.
RTP.
Answer the question, please.
No, I'm gonna get.
No, please
I'm
answer the
get
question.
in front of me.
No, please answer the question, and then you can monologue.
All right,
Why do you think the only thing you seem to have retained from the Her report are the exact same talking points that the RFK and Trump campaign put out? Why do you think those are the only talking points you remember?
That's why do you think that? Why do you think that? Because that's not what I think at all. I don't even
can't
know
remember because you didn't remember anything else.
No,
I think that because of what you said.
You are a good arguer. I'll give you that. You're persistent. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I make people. I nail you down when you try and run from it. I'm going to ask it again. Why do you think you only remembered the exact same talking points that those campaigns put out and nothing else?
What kind of question is that?
It's meant to be self-reflective, which is difficult for us. Which is difficult for us white men to do. I have the same problem. But let me just be honest. Let me be real honest with you. I like you. I think we would be friends. I think we could sit down and have a great day. I have no personal issue with you whatsoever. So please take that knowing you're welcome back here. You're welcome back here anytime. I have no you're a perfectly pleasant person. You are not, but now let me finish. You're not adequately informed.
Okay, I appreciate you filling me in on that.
You're just not you're allowing yourself to be misinformed by biased media.
Can I say something real quick? The reason is because see, you have a show on this TikTok and you're very popular, but you're also making sure that everything is around you information-wise for you to argue somebody like me who is sitting nowhere near any information. But if we were to sit in front of information, which I will bring next time, when I'll bring this Her report in front of me, and we will talk about it when I have it in front of me, because it's hard to argue something I can't go and reference.
Look, listen. I agree with that. I understand that. I'm just asking you to drop. We all have egos. Again, I have an ego. Just if for a second you could drop your ego and ask yourself an honest question.
Okay.
Just ask yourself why the only things you remember off the top of your head are the exact talking points that are being pushed by RFK's team and Trump's team, but you don't remember the counter narratives that have come out from the Biden team. If you are equally informed, why do you only remember those parts?
Okay, so when we bring the Her report to your next show that I'm allowed to get on,
answer that question first. I want you to reflect for a second.
Question.
That's fine, but
ask you the same question.
Wait,
why
I knew
are you
about
only remembering the parts that you want to remember.
I didn't. I remembered all the things you said.
See,
too.
the difference with you and me is I don't care. It's not that I hate Biden.
I don't know why. Are you going to answer this question or no? What's your plan on this?
I don't know if there's really an answer. It's like a hot question.
No, this is only your opinion. I want to know why you think that those are the only things you remember.
Okay. So I didn't say that though, and I don't think that's all I remembered. I just know that when you were bringing things up, that those things came to mind. And the reason being is because you're contradicting a lot of what the report actually said.
I'm not. I'm reading everything I've brought up is directly in the report.
Okay. So
I'm giving you what I'm doing is I'm giving you a total picture of the report. I'm including the part that you're referencing about what Her said, and I'm also including the part that whoever you're voting for, wherever your feed is coming from, I'm giving you the parts that they're conveniently leaving out. What we're seeing here right now is that I'm giving the full picture and you're giving a partial picture.
Maybe to your fans, but the reality is listen, a large percentage of America, even the ones that are going to vote for Biden, still are concerned about his mental capacity.
Let me tell you this. After doing this for a long time, I would argue that most of America is fucking clueless about what's actually happening, and they are heavily influenced by narratives, and they're heavily influenced by their own biases. It takes effort to not have biased information because we all have social media algorithms that feed us what we want to hear. Right. So we have to go out of our way. We have to go out of our way to get the opposing perspective, which is why if you looked at my Twitter and if you looked at there's the following. If I click on following, I'm going to get a lot of articles from people on the left. If I go with For You, like my For You page, it's everybody on the right, because I'm engaging with people on the right constantly, because I know what my opinions are. I want to know what the other side is saying.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say this. I do have to get going, but I'm going to say vote Kennedy 2024. I'll talk to you next time I see you on. Have a good day.
Yeah.
You're a good guy.
Yeah, thanks, man. We'll see you.
Bye.
Good luck with Kennedy 2024. If you guys love malaria, you're going to love Robert F. Kennedy, because he's bringing that shit back. That's weird. When I drop the guest, I lose the comments. I can't see any comments. I do see Island Boy Pundit. I don't know if you are opposition. If you are, drop it in the comments. I won't see it, but hopefully Jen will. This sucks. This is weird, not being able to see your guys' comments. I'm sure you're all just saying very nice things. Let me check the Cash Apps and Venmo. I think some stuff came through. This is from Jennifer. I saw this earlier. I forgot to read it. Did you hear about the Republicans in Arizona that took a recess to go on a $10,000 whiskey tasting fundraiser trip, but publicly said they were consulting with their constituents about the 1864 abortion law that went into effect? I did not hear that, Jennifer. And if you have that story, would you send it to me? DM it to me. If not, I'll find it after. But I actually had not heard that story, so that doesn't sound good. And Amber, Amber says, "It's my birthday. Talk to me like I'm your favorite rug." I think to my favorite rug, I said, "Oh no." So to Amber, oh no, this isn't good. This is bad. How's that? Hi, Jen.
Hola.
Hi.
I think with the comments, if you swipe on your screen left or right, they will come back.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what you
Is
did.
Island Boy?
He said he's not op. So if you guys
Oh,
are
okay.
opposition to J RTP, send a request. Yeah,
All right. I'll try that.
1.5K people in here. That's awesome.
Hey, thanks everyone.
We're crowdfunded, so even though he doesn't have it in his background, if you go to the link in his bio, there is the Cash App and Venmo. He will read most messages that you send, and the more embarrassing, the better. You can do that. We also have a YouTube where we post the replays of the lives. And if you want access to the Discord, you can send a message to myself or any other mod, and we can send you a link for that.
Thank you, Jen.
All right, bye.
Shout out Jen. Jen's in the chat. Jen does so much stuff on the back end, like that YouTube stream, the live stream, the replays getting up, all of our content on YouTube. You'll see lots of changes coming to our YouTube. Jen's putting in a ton of time and effort into that. So, Jen. All right, I swipe left. All right, there's the comments. What do we want to do, guys? Do you want me to cover more stories, or we can open it up and just hang out for an hour, or we could read the her report. Hi, Jimmy. RTP3. Oh, that's a smile. We can do whatever. All right. Well, try and get some debates up here then. RTP. What about Jasmine Sherman? Am I blanking on Jasmine Sherman? Look, I'm honestly afraid to talk about Ginny. It gets me taken down. Yeah, Renee, you can ask a question. You want to come up? Go ahead. Wait, what was that? Jasmine Sherman? Who is that? Is that? Oh, I remember her. I remember when she first started running. I don't know anything about Jasmine Sherman, and I'm going to be honest, I have no issue with Jasmine Sherman, but like I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on somebody who has no shot at winning. If somebody wants to talk about her, we can. I'm looking at her platform right now, and I don't, so far I don't see anything I hate. They, them? Oh, thank you. They. Jasmine is they, them. Thank you very much. Did not know that. See how much I didn't know? They should put that on the website. That would be helpful. Did not know that. And who's this other person with Jasmine Sherman on the, or is that just her in two different outfits? Hold on, wait, let me make sure. No, who's the other person? Is that her, the VP candidate? Renee, I don't know. Let's see. I don't know if you have enough followers or not. You do. Jen, will you invite Renee? I don't know how to do that. Is it like that? There you go, Renee. I sent it to you. I do know how to do it. Oh, Blue Bear. Who is Blue Bear? Blue Bear is... There's no information on Blue Bear. Oh, there we go. Tanda Blue Bear, a formidable warrior hailing from the Pomo Nation. So indigenous, with a heart as fierce as her. This is beautiful, actually. With a heart as this is great. I actually now really like them. Enter the world of Tanda Blue Bear, a formidable warrior hailing from the Pomo Nation. With a heart as fierce as her spirit, Tanda emerges as a beacon of empowerment for indigenous women across Turtle Island. From the depths of her ancestral roots, she draws strength, wisdom, and a profound sense of duty to her community. Tanda's journey is not just one of personal triumph, but of collective resilience. With unwavering determination, she ventures into the heart of her people's struggles, wielding her heritage as a weapon against injustice. Whether battling systemic inequalities or preserving sacred traditions, Tanda stands as a guardian, a catalyst for change. That's great. Okay, so what did she do? She was the driving force behind Women with Bows, a dedicated team of indigenous warriors committed to elevating communities and preserving humanity. W, founded on principles of sustainability, compassion, and unity. W, Women with Bows embodies the spirit of decolonization and collective action. W, with a focus on mutual aid, public speaking, and community support, they traverse the country offering aid and security in times of need, from national disasters and everyday. W, yeah, she's all sorts of W's. This is all the green flags. Yeah, did say she for Tanda, right? Did I get that right? Was it she for Tanda? Yeah, her. There we go. Thank you. All right. Well, thanks for. I probably need to do a little more research on them. I remember when Jasmine Sherman announced their candidacy, but then I think that's as far as I went. Hey, Renee.
Hi.
Hey. What's up?
Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How about you?
I wanted to ask you. I'm good. I love your show. You guys are so awesome. You
Thank
and that beautiful frick, I
Felice?
can't remember her name. Anyway, I wanted to ask you about the tax money. The 80 billion that the IRS got. I'm finding the right wing are starting to say that 63% of the audits are going to the middle class. Have you heard anything about that?
So I think that number is currently 63% goes to the middle class. One of the biggest issues that we have with our IRS is that for people with a lot of wealth, their taxes are harder to do. Therefore, they're harder to audit. They're far more time consuming. They take more resources. And so because of that, we have kind of focused on the middle class. That's why you see the effective tax rate for the billionaire class at like 3%. So part of the 80 billion in funding that went to the IRS was to expand the amount of people we have, and it's over 10 years. But the other thing people forget is that we have a bunch of baby boomer IRS agents who are retiring. So a lot of this money is just going to replace people that are going to be retiring in the next 10 years. So I don't know. It's weird that Republicans are mad about that, like that we want to collect more taxes that we're owed. Yeah, weird.
Well, they're just saying, I've just seen some comments saying that, oh, Biden's going after, the middle class. He said he wouldn't go after anybody making more than 400,000 a year. Yeah. So, and how many IRS agents have they hired? That's another thing. Do you know?
That's a good question. It was supposed to go
Yeah.
out. It rolls out in waves. I'm trying to find.
Okay.
I can't remember. I remember seeing it, but it's by year.
Oh.
I don't know how many they've got so far.
Okay. All right.
But it's supposed to be 87,000 at the end. Yeah. So let's say if it's 87,000 over 10 years, let's say it's supposed to be 8,700 per year. I'd imagine, and this happened in 2023, so maybe 8,700 if they're doing it year by year.
Okay. So I guess what they're saying is true then, that more of the middle class is getting audited rather than the billionaires or the really rich people. But is that different? Is that different than any other year? 60% or whatever on the
No,
middle class?
that's the status quo. That's what's been happening. So what they're saying is they're lying, like they're lying about. I don't even know if it's lying. Maybe they don't understand. Right now, 63% of the people that are being audited by the IRS, those are the middle class. But the reason we needed to hire more people is so that we could go after the billionaire class. So this is a fix to that. And so it's not that it's going to go after more middle class people. They're taking this bill and saying, because right now it's 63%, now it's going to be 70 or 75. But the bill specifically is going after like more high value targets.
Okay. Well, thank you, RTP. Felice, that's her name. You
There
guys
you
are
go.
awesome. I
Thank
learned
you.
so much from you. You're freaking brilliant, dude.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. I'll see you later.
Thanks, Renee.
Bye.
I was hoping I was not that I had a problem with Renee there, but my mom has a friend named Renee, and I know she listens sometimes, and I was hoping it was her, because the last time we had a conversation, she told me secrets about my mom that were hilarious and handsome. Thanks, Doug. Is the guest box empty? All right, let me jump back in the stories from Monday, then see what I can pull up here. Yeah, here's something that we covered the other day. I don't remember if it was in a debate or if it was, I think it was while we were debating, but this was a article from Business Insider. I think it was first reported by New York Times. The title is Israel Got Suitcases of Cash to H Word. And let me just read parts of these. Reporting in the New York Times has revealed that Benjamin Netanyahu's government was more hands-on about helping the H group. They helped a Qatari diplomat bring suitcases of cash into Gaza, indirectly boosting the militant organization, according to the report. The calculus, so what they were trying to do, the Times reported on Sunday, citing Israeli officials, Netanyahu critics, and the man's own reported statements, was to keep H group strong enough to counteract the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank, allowing Netanyahu to avoid a two-state peace solution and keep both sides weak. So it seems, at least according to everybody, that Netanyahu indirectly made sure that funding got to H group and that he did not calculate what that would mean. So interestingly enough, that one of the people you can blame most for H group and their rise and their attacks is Benjamin Netanyahu. Why don't I run for office? I don't know. Like today's in the political climate now, I think that legitimately voices online, voices in the media are more powerful than most of the people who work in Congress. I look at Congress now, which is where you would have to start, and I wouldn't want to be part of that organization. I don't think that would be a place that would be fun at all. I think that we can have more of an impact on the electorate and getting the electorate to get better people. I'm not particularly organized. In fact, I'm not organized at all. I have ADHD. I'm sporadic with my thoughts. I'm impulsive. I don't know that like my traits translate well to being in Congress. For me, I want the people in Congress to have a very good idea of what their district wants, both the people that voted them in and the people that voted against them, and they should legislate accordingly. And I just don't know if that's like, I don't know if that would necessarily be my strong suit. I don't have any interest in doing that. That's what campaign managers, well, that's what Jen and Felice are here for too. Like, let's be real. I can't function on my own very well. Have you seen, yeah, I've seen Marjorie Taylor Greene. I do think if I ran for Congress, if I thought Boebert was going to get reelected, I would maybe that would be a little more incentive. Speaking of Boebert and people to save, I just want to play a clip from Katie Britt. This was on Fox the other day, and she's just reacting to Trump's hush. Like, she's sitting there with the giant cross on her chest, about to tell us why we shouldn't care, that Christians shouldn't care about their presidential candidate paying off a porn star hush money, and then lying to the American people about it. So just here's this nice Christian lady telling us why we shouldn't care about Christian values.
situation of not having control.
Oh,
Marge,
shoot.
I think
I think I have two things playing. Where was the other one? Maybe not. Let's try this again.
and people's number one lives being put in danger by what he says about them, but also number two.
Sorry about that. Morning Joe was auto playing. I do not like Morning Joe. Here we go.
So, Senator, you're a legislator, but you're also a lawyer.
Yes.
Do you feel like the president can get a fair trial here in New York?
No, I mean, look at what we're seeing. This is the left continuing to melt down over Donald Trump. They are obsessed. I mean, there is a reason both the federal prosecutors and state prosecutors said we are not going to move forward with this. And then you have Alvin Bragg enter into the arena and want to make a name.
Just to stop there, she said there is a reason why state and federal prosecutors said we're not going forward with this. The reason is, as Felice eloquently laid out to us the other day, and what we now know is that the Barr Attorney General Barr under his administration went through and cut out all the information, including Donald Trump. They got rid of all the evidence so that they didn't charge Donald Trump with this crime. We now know that a weaponized Department of Justice is the exact reason why they chose not to go after him. Imagine that the Attorney General that was appointed by Donald Trump chose not to go after Donald Trump, and they just conveniently leave that out. She may not know that because she's dumb. Let me play back here.
Prosecutors and state prosecutors said we are not going to move forward with this. And then you have Alvin Bragg enter into the arena and want to make a name for himself. People know that. People are sick of the two-tiered system of justice that we're seeing. And I think that the more the media can talk about this, which we're going to see them do, then the less they have to talk about what a disaster this country is under Joe Biden. They know people want Donald Trump back in the White House, and they absolutely cannot stand it.
It's the perfect.
And they absolutely cannot stand it. Listen. We don't want Donald Trump back in the White House. We absolutely don't. But I would challenge any Republican to show me a clip of somebody defending Trump's actions and not telling us how the actions against him are corrupt. Like, he keeps losing, guys. He loses all the time. He went to 3 cases, or he's had 3 cases. He's lost all 3. He's going to lose this one too. What's up, Tapped In?
What's up?
Hey. What's up?
We don't fuck with Biden.
What's that?
We don't fuck with Biden.
You don't? Is that what you said?
Everybody. If you smart, you shouldn't fuck with Joe Biden.
Why?
Cause he old. He old and he incapable of running office.
Why is he incapable?
I mean, have you seen clips of him?
Yep.
I mean, he can't. He can barely talk.
Do you want me to play a live stream of him speaking right now, and you can tell me if he can talk or not?
Yeah, that was like the first time in what? How long?
Oh, I watch him speak all the time. When's the last time you saw Joe Biden give a full speech? What speech was it?
Oh nah, I ain't seen
you
him
don't
give
know.
a full speech. Nah, I ain't seen him give a whole full speech, but I done seen him.
So
give
why
some
do you have an
speeches, though.
opinion? If you haven't watched
I
it,
done
why do you
seen
have an
him.
opinion on it?
I gotta watch it to have an opinion on it. What
Yeah.
the fuck? That's my
Yeah.
right, nigga.
Of course it's your right. I'm asking why. Can you not use the N-word, by the way? That'd be great. Just for TikTok reasons. I appreciate it. Don't you think you should watch a full speech before you should decide if he's capable of giving a full speech?
I don't. But like, why do I need to when there's clips
Because how
out
would
here?
you? Because do you agree that clips can be deceiving? Clips can be
Yeah,
taken
for
out of
sure.
context.
Yeah,
okay.
for sure. But
So why
but
don't
my
you
eyes don't
take the
deceive me.
time? So why don't you take the time to watch the full clip? Watch the full speech.
Okay, so like, I mean, it's not much that like can be a lie if he up there, his ass, like.
So there's not much that could be what? I didn't hear it. I didn't hear. There's not much that could be what?
It's not much that can be lied about. Like, it's not in a clip.
Sure there is. Sure there is.
Well, so if I had a clip of me being like,
Yeah,
like,
if I
what
clipped
did that
that,
tell
yeah,
you?
I could have clipped that right then. I
Yeah,
could have clipped
and then-
that right then, and I could be like, look at this guy. He's out here. He's up here tweaking on my live, but you weren't. You were just doing an impression, right?
Joe Biden. Oh, Joe Biden.
That was
I'm
a Joe
doing the
Biden impression?
of yeah.
I
That's
don't
a
know
Joe
what your
Biden
job is, but
impression.
that wasn't a great impression. I'll be honest. It wasn't great. It was
That
hard to
was
recognize that was Joe Biden.
that's a Joe. That's a live representation of Black Joe Biden.
Well, I appreciate the effort, but I don't think it was very good. I think it was a pretty poor impersonation, if we're being honest. So you don't want to vote for Joe Biden because you think he's old, and you're going to vote for who?
Oh yeah, we voting red, baby.
Okay, now you realize that voting for Trump will be older than Joe Biden was when Joe Biden took office, right?
But Trump.
Oh, wait, I thought he was
Okay,
too old.
okay, let me cook. Allow me to
Okay.
cook.
Okay.
His age not finna make him ineffective though. Joe
Why not?
Biden's age makes him ineffective at his job.
Well, I was watching the depositions of Donald Trump. Donald Trump, when they showed him a picture of the woman who was accusing him of sexually assaulting him, and he said, "That's my ex-wife." He didn't even know he didn't even know who his ex-wife was. He was asked when he was married. He didn't know any of the dates that he got married. So why aren't you worried about him? He can't identify his own ex-wife, and the person he said was his ex-wife was the person he actually assaulted. How come you don't care about that?
So you right now, you don't think that Donald Trump can identify his own ex-wife?
No, he didn't. They showed him a picture of somebody else, and he said, "That's my ex-wife, Marla."
Shit, I don't know. I don't
It's
really
tough,
know
isn't it?
about
That's a
that.
tough one. How about
Yeah,
when he
that's a tough one. I ain't gonna lie,
How
that's a
about when
tough
he
one.
was
Yeah.
in North Carolina earlier this year, and he said that wells kept washing up on shore, and that there had been 3 that week that had washed up on shore because of the windmills, and that didn't happen. None of that ever happened. What about that?
So like, okay, so
Do you
you
think that's a
basically
thing that
want
a sane person says? Do you think a sane person would stand on a stage and say, "Why is it there's whales washing up on shore because of the windmills? There's no science to back that up, and that didn't happen." Do you think that's a sane person?
all right, so I think as people we all got our own set of beliefs. Like everybody believes ain't the same. So he had a reason to say whatever he said.
What reason would you have to say
I
wells were
look
washing up on shore because of windmills?
look,
What would a sane reason be for that?
you gotta ask Trump that. I don't know his
I'm asking
reasoning
you.
behind.
Look, it's me and you. You asked me about Biden. I'm asking you about Trump. But we're mostly talking about why you vote for people. And you said I wouldn't vote for Joe Biden because he's old, which we've already covered. Trump will be older than him if he takes office. And then
Which
you're like, he
doesn't
doesn't know
what
what's going
okay.
on. And I've given you 2 examples now that are absolutely crazy. And instead of looking at those and be like, maybe my guy's crazy, you're like, I don't know, ask him. It
No,
seems
no,
like
no, no,
you
no.
just like want to like
Wait,
Trump and you
okay.
don't care.
Okay. So you said stuff that Trump done said.
Uh-huh.
Joe
I've
Biden
watched him
can't even
say it.
get them words. Joe Biden can't even get them words out of his mouth.
You don't know that because you've actually never watched a Joe Biden speech. You already admitted that. Do you know how many
No,
Donald Trump? I
no, you
watched
said no, no,
probably
no, no,
10
no, no,
Donald
no.
Trump speech. I watch
You asked
10
me.
Donald Trump speeches a week at least. I watch every time Joe Biden speaks publicly. I watch them. You've watched none of those things. I don't think you have a
You
very educated opinion on this.
you asked me.
Yep.
Cause now I done lost my damn thought. I'm feeling like Joe Biden in this bitch.
Yeah, but the reasoning behind you not liking Joe Biden, like the same can be said for Trump. So it kind of seems like you just really
But
like
no, it
Trump.
can't though. No, Joe
Yes, it
Biden's
can.
age makes him ineffective, and like
So
you
does
just
Donald
skipped over
Trump's.
everything I said.
Donald Trump was
No,
falling asleep in court yesterday. Falling asleep.
shit, I'll fall asleep in court too.
Why are you going to court so much, first of all?
Like if I mean shit, I know I
If
don't go to
you
court.
think
I ain't
if you
never.
were you think if
I
you
ain't,
had 34, like you go to court, you got 34 felonies being charged. You're charged with 34 felonies. You think you're falling asleep during that?
shit.
Mm.
If I know I'm innocent, that's what innocent people do. Trump
Fall
innocent.
asleep? Well, how come every time Trump goes to court then he loses if he's so innocent?
No, the world
He's been to court 3 times. He's lost all 3 times.
the world is against Trump right now.
Oh. Do you see how
America is
dumb?
against Trump right
Yeah.
now.
Do you have any like stupid friends who go to jail all the time? I have a couple of those. You got any of those?
Yeah, hell nah. See, I
Yeah.
don't surround my. Yeah, hell nah.
Yeah, and I'm glad you also. But what do they always say? Like, oh, it's the system. They're just out to get me. It's like, yeah, well, maybe stop breaking the law, right? Like,
Yeah.
yes, there are people who are out to get Trump. I agree with you. But if they're out to get him and he doesn't break the law, he's not going to lose in court. But he keeps losing in court. Like, if I wanted to make up charges against you, I could do it. But if I don't have any evidence, I'm not going to win in court. But he keeps going to court and then he loses. And he's losing like default judgments. Like, his last court case was so bad that not only did he lose nearly $500 million, but his CFO, because he lied on the stand, his CFO had to go back to prison for 5 years. That's how bad things went for Donald Trump. That he has to pay $500 million, and his CFO had to go back to prison for lying. He's already been to prison. He had to go back. His former personal attorney, his number one guy, his right-hand man, was in prison for committing crimes with Donald Trump. The very crime that in New York he's on trial for right now. So the very thing that Donald Trump is being tried for right now, somebody else already went to prison for doing this crime with Donald Trump.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
So you like a president who is a felon then?
I don't even think you can be president when you a felon.
You can. You just can't, which is crazy. You can't vote if you're a felon, but you can be president. Isn't that crazy?
That shit crazy.
Yeah.
That shit crazy.
We could probably put a stop to that, but I think if we introduced legislation that you can't be a convicted felon, who do you think would vote against that? If you say you can't be a convicted felon and be president, who do you think would oppose that right now? Yeah, you know, it's you guys, right? It's you guys. You'd be like, oh shit, because you don't actually care. And this is the psychology behind Donald Trump is that he's a cult leader, dude. It's a cult of personality. None of you know or care what he says and does. You just like him, and there's a lot of people that like him, and the people that like him like really like him. Like I like Joe Biden just fine, but if somebody was like, hey, do you want to spend a day hanging out with Joe Biden? I'd be like, no. Like, do you really want to go hear what Joe Biden has to say? No, I don't care about any politician that much. But Donald Trump is like the first rock star politician. And what that's enabled him to do is be a complete fucking moron and nobody notices. Because they're like, that's how we treat rock stars, right? Like they can say crazy things. You got what was his name? Ozzy out there biting the heads off birds at concerts. And we're just like, yeah, we love this guy. He's treated like a celebrity by you guys. You don't care what he says or does. You like him. You're fans.
No, I think. Well, I think I fuck with Trump, and I think anybody else who fuck with Trump, I think we can all agree that he say some outrageous shit.
Yeah, and also things that are just not true, and also things that are crazy, and also things that like a normal person wouldn't say.
But don't all politicians say shit that's not true?
Not like that. Have you ever heard of a politician? Let me just ask you a question. You ever heard of a politician?
I was still on my point. All right,
go ahead.
So we can agree that all politicians done racked up a couple of lies under their belt.
Yeah.
So Trump. Okay, so who are we to judge? He's worse than him. No, they all bad.
I'm judging.
Okay.
Well, and for a couple of reasons. One, yeah, most politicians have lied. Nobody has lied as much as Trump. But the things that he lies about are insane. Let me give you some examples. When Donald Trump was elected and he had his inauguration, he claimed it was the most widely attended inauguration in history. That wasn't true. And when he was fact-checked on that, they have the numbers. It's simple math. When they checked the numbers, he just said, nope, the numbers aren't true. He also said during that speech that it was pouring rain, but as soon as he started speaking, the skies opened up, the sun came out, and it was like a miracle. That didn't happen. It rained the whole time. He just lied about something that we all watched on TV. Show me another president who has lied to you about what you're seeing Like you're watching it and he's like, see this rain? It's not rain. It's the sunshine.
I ain't seen out, but I'm gonna believe on believe.
How
So
about the
I can't
whales
tell you
washing
one.
up on shore?
I can't tell you one.
All
I
right, let
can't
me
tell
ask you
you
this.
one.
When Donald Trump was running in 2016 in Iowa, his biggest opponent was Ted Cruz. Do you know what he
Yeah.
did to Ted Cruz in that? He
What do you do
planted
with Ted
stories
Cruz?
in the National Enquirer that Ted Cruz's dad was part of the JFK assassination. He paid to get stories planted in a newspaper that his dad was part of the JFK assassination. And then when he lost, you know what he did, J-Man?
What do you do?
He said it was rigged.
He said it was red.
You know what he said when Romney lost?
What did he say?
It was rigged.
Damn.
You know what he said when McCain lost?
What did he say?
It was rigged. He's been
Damn.
claiming rigged election every time Republicans have lost an election for the last 20 years. He's just a liar.
He lied about certain shit. Yeah. I mean,
Everything.
he got some lies under his belt. Just like
you don't agree
Joe
those are
Biden.
crazy? You don't agree those are
Just like-
crazy lies?
Yeah, I can agree that they're crazy lies, but
Okay, give me
okay.
a lie from Biden that's anywhere near that.
Shit. I mean, I'm not.
Or just give me a Biden lie. Tell me one lie Biden told.
He said he was going what is it? What student loans? He ain't did that. Shit,
Yeah, he did.
whatever. No,
Yeah,
he didn't.
You want me to tell you what happened? Yeah.
What happened?
So Biden.
Let me know.
Yeah, so Biden introduced an executive order to eliminate a bunch of student loan debt, and the Supreme Court ruled that was unconstitutional. So then what Biden did is he had his team go back and find all the places, according to the Supreme Court, that he could eliminate that student debt that complied with the court order. And so since then, Biden has gotten rid of the student debt of, I think he's 40,000. I think 40,000 more people just got their student debt eliminated. So he's done everything he can within his power to eliminate student debt.
He has not fully.
Well, he can't. He can't do it. So the way that our country works is that the Congress controls the purse, right? So if Congress doesn't approve that funding, the president, and this is smart, the president shouldn't just unilaterally be able to pay off student loans. That was a good ruling by the courts. But there was already places where student loans, we planned to pay them off in 10 or 15 years, and he just moved that timeline up. But he's done everything in his power to try and get student loans forgiven. He's not the king, right? If you promise to try and get student loan debt removed and then the court rules against you, did you lie or did you lose? Because I think you lost. I don't think that's a lie. Just like if I said I was going to go run 5 miles today, and on mile 2 I broke my ankle and I couldn't run anymore, I didn't lie about going to run 5 miles. I broke my ankle, so I ran 2.
And then insufficient. Another reason why insufficient action on climate change.
What about it? I like that you're reading stuff now. I like this. This is good. What about the climate change?
Oh no, I came up here with my notes ready.
No, I was
came
serious.
up here.
When I said I love that, I meant that. That was a compliment. Swear to God.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't a
Oh
criticism.
no, yeah. Oh yeah, I
yeah.
came up here with that. Yeah, I
Good.
came up here with.
So what do you
yeah.
mean?
Hell yeah. And this from my project school. This is school project for college. But you said what? Say that one more time.
I just didn't hear what you said. Something about climate change with Biden. I wasn't sure what you said.
Oh yeah, insufficient action.
What action would you have liked him to take?
I mean, I don't know what action I would like him to take, but I know what he doing ain't good enough.
Yeah, again, he's got a barrier, right? Congress controls the purse, and this Congress that's led by Republicans is the least successful Congress in the history of our country. They don't pass any legislation. Everything just sits there. They can't pass anything. So in order for him to get more funding to combat climate change, he needs Congress to approve that funding. But if you're a Trump person, you don't even believe in global warming, or or climate change. So I don't know why you would criticize from that. Like Trump doesn't
Oh
believe in
no,
climate change.
this because Trump don't. I mean shit. I can believe. You know what I'm saying, I don't believe in everything 100% what Trump believe. You know, everybody got their own beliefs again. Shit,
Do you think
but
climate change is a big issue?
I think climate change is the big issue. Yeah.
Okay, well, do you think that if we, instead of focusing on renewable energy, we instead keep focusing on energy that emits really high carbon, like coal, like oil, like gasoline? Do you think that would make climate change better or worse?
You said worse. From what I heard you say, worse.
Okay, well, that's what Donald Trump wants to do. He wants to eliminate green energy, go back to coal and oil. So
Yeah.
if you think climate change is a big deal, why are you voting for Trump?
Okay. Again, I don't agree with 100% everything Trump does.
What do you agree with that he does?
What do I agree with that Trump does? A couple of bills. I can describe them. I know the names of them. When I can describe them to you, like
Yeah, let's
when
try
he
that.
gave funding for schools and
To HBCUs?
well he did that too for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, and did Biden do the same thing?
Did Biden I know HBCUs right now ain't doing too hot.
They weren't
Yeah,
doing
no,
that. What do you mean they're not doing too hot?
they
By the
not
way,
doing too hot.
the
I
Biden
know.
administration has taken historic and unprecedented action for HBCUs, including $7 billion worth of investment, 3.6 through the American Rescue Plan, 1.6 billion through COVID relief, and then there's capital finance debt relief. They wiped the debt off the books from them from 45 public and private HBCUs. So historically, no president in the history of this country has been better to HBCUs than Joe Biden. And Donald Trump was pretty good on HBCUs. Like he did something that we hadn't seen for a while. It was good, but the Biden administration has done better.
By wiping you said by wiping what you say?
So there was $7 billion total in investments.
Yep.
3.6 billion of that came through the American Rescue Plan. 1.6 came from COVID relief, and
Yep.
then the rest was capital finance debt, so loans that they had taken on.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I think I think Trump better. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Wait,
I
but
think
he's not though on HBCUs. He's not. Biden's
by
better.
as
Like just
far as
statistically, he's given more money, more help, more funding, more protection. They also approved looks like $93 million in grants.
okay, but another thing you gotta realize, Trump under his presidency, COVID happened. So
It also
like
happened during Biden's. It
the
happened
world
during Biden's too. Happened with
the
both.
world was in an economic crisis. So
Yeah, and Biden took.
Trump was very limited
Wait,
on
but
what he
that.
could do
Wait,
because
but that happened
nobody
at
was
the.
even in school. Shit.
Wait, that happened at the end of Trump's term after he had already done the stuff for HBCUs. But do you not remember that Biden also was president during COVID? They both had roughly almost the equal amount of time with COVID.
Okay, and what did it say? Like 25% of people perceive the economy as at least somewhat good right now. Only 25%.
Yeah, it's not good.
Only 25%. So do you think that's gonna hurt Biden presidency
Well,
run?
well, it could, but if people understand what the issues that are actually facing us with the economy, they would recognize that the prescriptions Donald Trump is offering won't fix anything. They'll exacerbate the problem. Like for you, yeah. Let me, yeah, hear me out. Uh, the big issue that we have is that even like historically the middle class has been able to save and put away money and feel comfortable. The middle class right now is not able to save any money. In fact, most are living paycheck to paycheck. They can't afford houses. And part of the reason that we've had this massive increase in housing prices is because during the Trump administration, he removed a rule. There was a rule for corporations that when a house went on the market, corporations, private money, was not allowed to make an offer on that house for 90 days. That means the public got access to all the best houses first. That's how most Americans obtain any net worth that they have. It's mostly their house. Trump
Okay.
removed that regulation and allowed corporations to bid against American citizens on day one. And what we saw is a massive increase in corporations buying houses. Where I live in Arizona, it was over 30%. that drove up the price of housing, which means not only could people not afford new houses, but those who were buying houses, it stretched their budget. Less money is being able to be saved, right? So and then what Trump wants to do is he wants to cut taxes for those very same billionaires to allow them to buy more houses and buy up more of the assets. So
Trump did a lot for everybody. The poor, middle class, and upper class.
no, he gave so the tax cuts that Trump put out there, we're still living under that same tax, those same taxes, right?
Okay.
Biden hasn't changed that. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird. Like if you compare Trump's economy to Biden's and you're talking about taxes, we're dealing with the same tax system. So it can't be like if Trump gets credit for the economy under him because of the taxes, then shouldn't he also take credit for now? Like, see what I mean?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Our only hope as a country to not become an oligarchy, and what I mean by that is that a few select people own almost all of the wealth, is to immediately, as soon as we possibly can, change our tax structure and force billionaires to pay the same at the very least, the same percentage as you and I would pay, and they're not. Billionaires pay like 3 to 4% in taxes. That's the percentage, while middle-class Americans have to pay 30% of their income. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. And Donald Trump is I can play the video for you, but Donald Trump is telling that billionaire class, the rich, that he's going to cut their taxes again.
Yeah.
That's what caused this problem. Cutting taxes, regulation. I recognize people who like Donald Trump because he's an outsider, but for the future of you, J-Man, like your future is significantly worse off under Donald Trump. Significantly.
Why do you think so?
Because you're not a billionaire. And everybody's worse off but the billionaires under Trump.
Shit, my parents millionaires though, so shit.
Yeah, even the millionaires are going to struggle. Like eventually, eventually the billionaires become so powerful that even having a couple $1 million, what are you going to do with that? They're buying up all the property. They're buying up all the companies. They're buying up all the land. They're buying all the resources. Everything we have that we can build our net worth on, like your parents, their house, whatever that's worth, like their savings, all that stuff wouldn't mean shit 30 years from now.
Probably like a good little meal. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Let me tell you this. There's I can't remember. I think like 30 something billionaires that are under the age of 30. No, it was 14, sorry. 14 billionaires that are under the age of 30. Guess how many of them earned their wealth rather than inherited?
You ask that question one more time.
There's 14 billionaires that are under the age of 30. Some of them inherited their wealth. Some of them earned their wealth. How many do you think earned their wealth?
Now I read that. My dad was telling me about that other day. It's majority. It was passed down. I think.
0 of them earned their wealth.
Yeah, it was majority passed on.
Do you think that's a good system? That's the rich, like these kids have 100x the amount of money that your parents have, and they never worked a day in their life.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a good system?
For people to give money to their kids when they die.
No. Do you think that's a good system that we're living in? That there are people out there who can inherit more 100x the wealth your parents have, who I would just go ahead and guess have worked really hard, and been smart with their money to get the life that they have, and there are people who just inherit 100x what they have.
I mean, it's not fair, but shit, I don't think it's like.
I didn't say it's fair. Do you think it's a good system?
I think that's I mean, I don't mind that. People getting people
So you
getting
think
money passed down. Yeah.
So we've got hundreds of thousands of people who can't afford a house, can't afford to live. We have hundreds of thousands of people living below the poverty line, but we have a system where, like, if your parents are rich, you'll never have to work. You think that's a good system?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I disagree with you.
Like,
and
people...
I come from at least like, I'll have an inheritance when my parents pass away. Like, I've been fortunate. My parents were able to pay for a lot of my education. I was able to go to good schools. I was able to go to good programs. Like, I'm extremely privileged to have the little bit that I have. And I see me like working my ass off trying to provide for my daughter, and I'm looking at the future, and I'm like, there's nothing. I cannot provide my daughter with any sort of stability unless like I make massive amounts of money. Like I could make $500,000 a year, and I still wouldn't be able to provide a whole lot for my daughter as
You
far
talking
as our
about?
future.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, and that's why I say that's why you invest your money.
It's not working though. That's what I'm saying. Like people have investments. They're living paycheck to paycheck. I'm telling you, man, like I understand your like for Donald Trump, but all he's doing is propping up rich people, and the country's not getting better. It's not getting better. The more billionaires we have, the more poor people we have.
You think so?
Yeah, well, like what'd your dad do for work?
My dad a lawyer.
Did your mom work too?
Yeah, my mom a real estate agent.
Okay, so how old are they roughly? Like 50s, 60s, 70s?
Yeah, mom early 50s.
Early 50s. Okay, so like when your dad obviously went to college. When your dad went to college, if his parents didn't help him pay for it and he had to take out student loans, those student loans were manageable, right? Like he
Okay.
could pay those off quickly. There may have been grants. I don't know if he served in the military. There may have been ways he got his school paid for, but
Well, yeah,
either
he
way,
scholarships. Yeah,
okay.
scholarships.
And in a lot of states, maybe not, I'm not sure when the cutoff would have been for your dad when he went to college, but he's right around the cutoff where a lot of states gave free tuition to in-state students. People that lived in the states who their parents had paid taxes, they got free tuition. Now, like if I just want to go to a community college, there's one down the street from me. If I want to go to a community college, I'm talking about $3,000 a semester for a community college just to get an associate's degree. I'm going to pay $24,000 to get an associate's degree.
See, that's in Arizona. I don't know if it's like that down here. Shit.
Where do you live?
I live in North Carolina.
The cool thing about Arizona is our junior college program, our community college, is actually really cheap. Average tuition.
I think ours is too. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You might, yeah. The average, yeah, about the same, more. The average in-state college tuition for North Carolina, so residents of North Carolina, $12,000 a year, so $6,000 a semester.
Yeah.
And you guys are one of the cheapest states. You're
Yeah.
34th most expensive. See, we're playing by different rules than your parents did, right? When your parents were growing up and when their parents were growing up, you know what? Like your parents' parents when they were growing up, do you know what the billionaire, like the equivalent of the billionaires, the 1%? Do you know what percentage their tax rate was?
What?
90%.
Damn.
So it was a progressive tax rate. So once their income hit a certain level, they paid 90%. Do you think everybody in America should be able to live off $10 million a year?
Everybody. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
So why not tax every dollar over 10 million at 90%?
Cause like it's their money. At the end of the day, whatever the case may be, is their money and they earn
Do you have
that.
any money, any cash right now in your hand?
Let me see. I got like a $20 bill right here.
All right, so I'll pull out a 22.
All right.
Okay, you see on the left side, there's a big stamp that says United States Federal Reserve.
Let me. Right there. Yeah.
All right, and underneath that it says this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private, right?
Yeah.
And it's signed. I don't know who mine's signed by. The Treasurer of the United States, right?
Yeah.
So whose money is this?
It's mine. I mean, shit,
No, whose money is it?
The Treasury of the United
Treasuries,
States.
right? Yeah. The reason that you have a currency is so that you can operate an economy without having to do like a barter system. So you don't have to trade me a cup of rice for a battery, right? The whole idea in having a currency is that we like trade happens quicker. It's easier. You don't have to like go out and find somebody who trades for exactly what you want. But it's the federal government's job to provide that currency, and that currency is supposed to circulate, right? And if economy is working correctly, the only time we should have to reintroduce money and print more money is when, like, you know, a $20 bill rips or a nickel is too scuffed up or it's lost. Like, we'll lose money too. So you have to recirculate a certain amount to replace it. But we're not doing that. We keep having to pump trillions of dollars into our economy. Why? If the economy is working as it should, why do we have to keep pumping money into it?
Why?
because all of the money, when it goes into the economy, goes up to the 1%, and they don't trickle it back down. And so you have all these people who are poor, and the money's not trickling down, and they wind up in places, especially like during COVID in 2008, where they literally can't pay their bills. They literally can't get food. They can't obtain housing. And so the federal government has two choices: let people starve or take care of them. And by taking care of them, they'll write a check, or they'll send payments, and these people will get a check, and they go and they buy groceries, and they may pay their electric bill, and they may pay a cable bill, they may buy some new clothes, whatever they're doing. That money eventually just funnels up to the top, and it doesn't come back down. So what happens? The government has to put more money in. And then what happens? It goes to the top. That's why the billionaires keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's why the gap between the middle class and the billionaires keeps getting larger, because every time we put money into the U.S. economy, it goes to them. The system's broken, dude.
So
You and I are fucked. I just want you to know, like, you and I, I'm fortunate that I have a house. I'm a little older than you. I'm fortunate to have a house. But if I didn't have a house right now and I lived where I lived, I could not afford to buy a house. I would just have to rent. And what I know from rent prices where I live, if I want a studio apartment in a relatively good area, $1,400-$1,500 a month.
that
If
was
I want
cheaper
a
under Trump.
What's that?
That was cheaper under Trump.
It was, but then he started letting corporations buy up all the houses, and that's when the cost of rent and houses skyrocketed. This was his doing. And the reason is like all these billionaires come to him and they're like, hey, we're going to donate you, but can you make it easier for us to buy houses? We're just trying to make money. He's like, yeah, sure. And what Republicans often don't look at is like, what are the long-term consequences of that? The more houses corporations get, the more they can buy, because they have leverage. They can utilize their assets to take out virtually interest-free loans and go purchase more houses. And they can afford for those houses sometimes to sit vacant. And then they all have investors, the investors always want a return, so they have to keep moving the price up. They have to keep raising the prices on those that are renting. They're pricing us out of the market, and eventually what happens if we continue on this trajectory is eventually America will be like Russia, where nobody owns their home. Corporations, oligarchs will own all of the homes. And when you pass away, that home will just go to somebody else. You won't pass that down to your kids. You won't be able to sell your home. You can't move into a nicer home by using the equity from your home. All of that goes away.
But ain't that our constitutional right? Shit, like
Our constitutional right to have billionaires buy all of our homes?
Oh no, I'm talking about like to own shit, like to own.
Yeah, and
your
I'm
own
saying
shit.
on this trajectory, if the trajectory we are on continues, 50 years from now, virtually nobody will own their home. It will be corporations owning almost all of the homes.
But that's not possible, right?
It is possible. Last year in Arizona, I pulled up the numbers. Last year in Arizona, 37% of new or of home purchases were by corporations.
Yeah.
Like, think about this. We had COVID, right? The whole country shut down in COVID, right? You remember that? Nobody was working.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what happened to the housing market? Did it also crash?
The housing market during COVID, it was a seller's market.
Think
Or,
about
it was a
think
seller's market.
and yes, it was a seller's market. But think about this. In an economy, when there's a seller's market, does it make any sense that when nobody was working, there were a lot of people buying houses? How does that work out? If nobody has income, how was everybody buying houses? You need income for loans, right? You have to show income in order to get a loan to buy a house, or you have to show that you have the assets, either cash assets or assets to lend against to purchase those homes, right? So when everybody in America wasn't working, the housing market was a seller's market. Who do you think was buying those homes?
Well, based on what you said, a lot of it, I'm not like a lot of it. 37%. You said 37%.
Yeah, in
So yeah,
Arizona.
37%. Okay, well, I'll just use that number, like but let's just say 37% of people was 37%. So like so if it's only 37%, it's still 63% of people buying houses.
Right, and I agree with that. But what happens is now that prices have continued to rise, more and more people, from COVID till now, people have been priced out of the market even more. So the more that price goes up, The more people are priced out of their housing, the easier it is for corporations to buy those houses. So that's why I say, like, we have to look at the trajectory we're on. Where the trajectory we are on right now is that corporations will be the only ones and billionaires that can afford houses.
Yeah, and the Fed cutting rates, and inflation is going down, but slow, real slow.
Well,
But
inflation in our country is going down faster than it went down faster than any other country in the world. We did all right. And the Fed, I think you meant to say they raised rates, right? Because the rates were really, really low.
I mean, yeah,
And that's the other thing, right? Like, when nobody in this country is working, how does it make sense that the rate to borrow money is low, right? So who can afford these low interest loans? Only the people that can qualify for them. And who can qualify for them? Only the people that are working or the people with assets. So you saw the billionaire class take advantage of these low rates, and they lobbied to keep those rates lower. They want to be able to borrow money as cheaply as possible all the time.
and do you think that's like, as a billionaire, from a billionaire's perspective, do you think it's wrong for them to take advantage of that?
I do not believe that corporations should be allowed to own homes. I don't. I don't think you should be beholden to a corporation to have a roof over your head. In every other transaction that you make with a corporation, it's something that, like, you choose to do. But in this case, many people are forced to rent from corporations just to have a roof over their head. And because those
Yeah.
corporations are capitalists and they rely on giving a kickback to their investors, they raise the cost of living for everybody. Why should we have unaffordable housing just so that these billionaires and their investor friends can make a return? Why are we catering to them?
But I don't think that's the case though. I don't
It,
think that is the case where that's why housing is so high right now.
then what's your alternate explanation for why housing is so high?
Well, I talked to my mom, which is in real estate. It's just it's not a lot of houses out. So when a house goes up, when a house goes on the market,
Yeah, why?
um,
Ask your mom. Did you ask your mom why there are less houses for sale right now?
nah.
Okay. Well, as somebody who I part-time also work in real estate, most people right now are holding on to their houses for a couple of reasons. One, they're unsure of what the housing market is going to do. And two, even if they sell their house, they can't afford another house. They're not going to make any profit. There's no incentive to sell their house. A lot of times, like, people are incentivized to sell their house because they'll make a profit on it, but then they need somewhere else to go. Like, if I wanted to sell my house right now, like,
You can sell it for virtually anything though.
yeah, I could sell my house, but, like, then going to buy a house would be difficult. Where am I
But
gonna go? Where am I gonna buy a house that's any better than the house I
it's
have now? I have
it's
no
still
incentive to sell my house.
there's definitely like it's definitely I forgot the number. It was a high number. I think damn. Uh, I, but it's housing is definitely like not affordable, but you can still buy a house. But
No, I understand, but put yourself in my position, okay? So I have a house. If I wanted to sell my house right now, the
yeah,
only house I could afford to buy is a house that's similar to my house. There's nowhere for me to go,
yeah, for
and
sure.
the
But you
market
can.
is at an all-time high. Like, I don't there's no incentive for me to go get a house. The rates aren't very good. Like, my interest rate on my mortgage is like 3 point something percent. Last I saw, it was like 6 or 7% now. So, like, even if I wanted to buy a new house, I'm going to double the rate that I'm
Yeah,
paying of interest, the rate I'm paying to the bank. There's no incentive to buy a house for me right now. But you know
yeah,
who
no.
is buying houses right now? Corporations. And because people like me don't want to buy houses because it doesn't make sense for me financially, that's less competition for the corporations. This is
Hold
great
on,
for them.
but can I ask, like, cause you keep talking about these corporations? What's wrong with them? What's wrong with them buying houses?
Again, so if I buy a house, and I pay my mortgage and I create wealth for myself, that doesn't artificially drive up the house of cost or the housing costs for others. Corporations have something that you and I don't have. They have a profit motive. When they buy a house, not only do they want to make money when they eventually sell the house, but they need to get a return on the investment because they have investors, people who have given them money. So they have to go in, they have to raise the rates, They have to charge renters more money. They have to recoup that investment and provide a return for people. You and I don't have that. When I buy a house, I don't have a return that I have to give to anybody outside of the money that the bank is charging me interest that's built into my mortgage. So there's an extra motive which artificially raises the housing prices even more.
And you
Does that make
said to
sense?
rent?
Because they
To
have to
rent?
make money. Yeah, these corporations are buying houses to rent out.
So
They
you
want
can't,
that revenue every month.
you can't own the house. Like you can't buy it.
Not if they own it.
Yeah.
And just so you know, this is literally exactly what happened in Russia. A bunch of they wound up being oligarchs, people that owned most of the wealth, and they just started they got all the oil, they got 50% of every publicly traded company, and they owned the entire housing market. So now when you're in Russia, you basically make enough to live every single day, and you barely make enough. You can't save, and you don't have a house that you can use for equity. You can't use it for retirement. You can't use it to hand it down to your kids. Just like when you're gone, the house goes back to the oligarchs. And even though in Russia it's a little different because it's the government that owns it, effectively it's the same thing. Effectively, we're on the same trajectory that just a few corporations will own all the houses.
Yeah. So yeah, I ain't gonna disagree with that. I ain't gonna agree, but I definitely hear what you're saying though, and that's definitely something to keep your eye out on for sure. But this
Well,
is my last thing. Oh, what you
yeah,
about
go
to
ahead.
say?
No, I'm just saying that like I think I've talked to you before, and I get like I honestly do understand when people say I like Trump because he's different. I'm tired of these same like suited up politicians who watch everything they say. Trump has no filter. I honestly do understand the appeal there. The problem is that I could support that if the appeal didn't come with the strings attached that Donald
Hmm.
Trump is just going to like bend over backwards for billionaires and do everything to help the billionaire class, and everyday Americans like yourself and me, like we're fucked, dude. Like, we
Yeah,
cannot go with these Republican policies are only good for corporations. None of them help the average American.
I wanna be an investor. So like, am I fucked?
I mean, so to be an investor, like to be a qualified investor or a credentialed investor, you have to
Yep.
have a certain amount of income, right? So, uh, and these giant like these places like BlackRock and Vanguard, like they don't want they're your competitor. So every house that you think you want to invest in, they want it too, and they've
Yeah.
got deeper pockets than you. And the more houses they get under their belt, the more distance there becomes between what you can afford and what they can afford. So no matter what, they can just outbid you. And it gets to a certain point where they're not outbidding anybody anymore because nobody can afford anything. And eventually they have enough of the houses that the housing market just goes away on its own.
So
It just
do you honestly believe that we're gonna end up like Russia?
I'm very concerned about the billionaire class and the amount of power that we grant them. Yes,
Yeah.
I don't think it would be the same as Russia, but because again, like in Russia, the oligarchs are part of the government, but and they're assigned as part of the government. In America, it's a little bit different. The people that are making all the decisions aren't elected officials. They're not part of our government, but effectively they're running the government through donations. I mean, they wanted the houses, dude. They're like, we want all these houses. Donald, we'll give you some cash. Get rid of this provision so we can buy more houses. He's like, cool, done. And he just did it. There was
So like,
no
would you?
benefit to anybody but corporations there. Everybody else was hurt by that.
Yeah. And as we know, corporations is what run America.
It
That's
now, but it didn't used to be that way. Like when your parents and your grandparents were coming up, it wasn't just corporations. Like when I grew up, I'm 38 years old. There was a grocery store in my town called Allen's, and it was one guy. His name was Allen. He ran
Yep.
that grocery store. It was his grocery store. It was his only grocery store, and it's how he made his money. And he made a good enough living. But do you know when Allen's closed? When
One.
Walmart showed up.
Yeah.
A mile away, Walmart showed up and they undercut him. And when Walmart showed up in our neighborhood, there were 4 grocery stores that within 5 years were out of business. Virtually every tire center and auto, like mom and pop oil change and tire center, they all went under. The toy stores, there were little small toy stores, they went under. And so all these people who had built real businesses for themselves, who made a real living, they were middle-class people, but they built a real living for themselves. That all went away. And where did all that wealth go? To the Waltons, to the people who own Walmart. Like they have billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. All
Yeah.
that money went to one person. So where our economy used to be far more spread out before we let these corporations take over, it was different. Now I agree with you. Corporations do run our economy. I've got a problem with that. I think we should break up those corporations. I think everyday Americans should have a chance to build a business, make a living, and run that business their whole life without having to worry about Walmart moving in and undercutting them on price. And then once they're gone, they'll just raise the prices right back up, or they'll pay virtually slave labor wages, right? Like Walmart's not a good employer. They pay people nothing. We subsidize Walmart to the tune of $80 billion a year in food stamps because they don't pay their employees enough. So the American public is paying their employees so that their employees can live. That's not
Yeah.
good. That's not good for us.
Yeah.
But that's Republicans. Republicans think that eventually these corporations are going to start giving the money back, and they're not. We've been doing this for 50 years, man. It's not working.
Yeah. I appreciate the conversation. I agree with you. I hella do agree with you on like the couple of topics we talked about. Most of them. But yeah,
Let's do it
appreciate you.
again. Yeah, let's do it again sometime. It's good talking to you, J-Man.
Hell yeah. All
All
right.
right, we'll see you. All right, guys, that's it for me. We're at 110. We're a little past. I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know if Felice will be back tomorrow or not. Let me read some comments real quick, make sure I didn't miss any. Thank you guys for all the donations, for the likes, for the gifts today. I do appreciate it. From Mary, sent a donation for cornering that crazy MAGA wannabe congressman. He did really well. That congressman reminded me an awful lot of talking to David, which isn't good. From Katie, Katie said, "Oh, this is cool. Wait, where did that go? What happened? What do you call a pony with a sore throat? A little horse." Solid. This is from what is this? From Justin, for cleaning the oil from your belly button. I don't know what that means. But I'm now a little concerned that I have an oily belly button, and I'm going to go check that. Guys, thanks for putting up with just me today. Like I said, Felice will be back 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every day, Monday through Friday. I do have a little bit of time, I think, later today. You may see me in some lives. I'm trying to catch more evening lives and jump in and be part of the evening crew. So thanks, everybody, for your support. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the guests that showed up. Thanks, J-Man. Don't tell me anybody's ever had a better conversation with J-Man. That is the best conversation anybody's ever had with J-Man. I know it. I'll see you guys in the morning. If I could, now I don't even know how to get rid of